Coming up on this episode of The Brain Drain Show.
Do you want to tell the story about how you almost got me arrested in the Ukraine?
There's police, traffic police, secret police. North Korea today is worse than Soviet Russia under Stalin in the 30s.
So he gets into the chalet, starts woo, jumping up and down on the bed, and then tells everyone that I broke the bed. So you want from Crocs 10 grand a month?
No, 20. And he goes, yeah, well, I'm not the one who's got a pro board out. And I said, 3. And then they took us to the science block. And I said, what's this then? He goes, yeah, we clone rabbits here. But the best sort of coverage and photos and stuff that I had was while I was at uni. There's a spider in a web, and I was like, ah! I was just like, ripped my shirt off, and I was just, ah! And she's like, get them off of me, they're all over me, ah!
All right, good morning or good night. Whenever you're watching us, it's probably night time now because it took us about 90 minutes to get our guest because he went on the slow train. My name's Forde Brookfield and I'm joined here to my left by Toby Batchelor. You've not seen us for a while. Well, you have seen us because episodes are frequent, but we've not done a show for a while. So we're going to kickstart this off with Toby. What have you been up to over like the last month or a month and a half?
I went to Cleethorpes.
Yeah, did you...
Oh my God.
Did you buy any vacuums or see any ghosts?
No. Didn't see any ghosts, no.
No?
And I went to Paris as well. You've been in America as well.
How was Paris?
Who
did you meet? Tyshawn?
I did, yeah. And Lucas Puig. That was great.
Lucas Puig's a legend, isn't he?
Yes.
I love Lucas.
I've got nothing more to say on that.
He's proper Frenchman, isn't he?
You've got one sentence to tell us where you went and what you did. That's it. One. Go.
All right. Went to Boston, Massachusetts.
End.
On a skateboarding on a skateboarding trip on my own and managed to see Jonathan Richman, which was great.
Okay, that's it. Done.
Filming for the next Baghead Crew full length, which you'll have
you heard of Baghead Crew?
A full Matt Tomasello part, so I look forward to that. So my week's been my month's been pretty hectic.
That's way more than one sentence.
Back to you, Toby.
Let's
You only last about one sentence, don't you?
Well, no one wants to hear what I've been up to. It doesn't matter, does it?
True.
Yeah. That's the same. Anyway, today's guest is how do you even describe? Okay,
well,
don't say his name yet.
He's an OBE. He's an MBE. He's been professional for way longer than he deserves.
Oh, thanks a lot.
He's probably, would you say he's had some of the most pro boards in UK skateboarding history, aside from Smedley?
Yeah.
How many pro boards would you say he's had?
I don't know. That's a question we'll do
right,
later on,
right.
so don't even bother saying that now.
So, he's a great judge, great skateboarder, got an impeccable laugh and great taste for home furnishings and a private bowl in his backyard. Joined to my left and then to Toby's left is none other
Daniel
than Daniel Cates. Round of applause in the studio audience, please. Tell us about yourself in one sentence. Go.
Massive,
Tall, dark,
massive.
handsome.
Well, there you go. That's the end of the podcast. Let's cut it off there. Right.
Do you want to? Should we just go through the questions as they're written down, or do you want to just?
I mean, I want to find out. Let's go from the start.
Do you want to?
We'll
all right, let's start this off. Do you want to tell the story about how you almost got me arrested in the Ukraine by the Ukrainian soldiers?
Well, there
Remember
we go.
that
No?
when we were at Chernobyl,
Yeah.
and you were
Yeah.
and you were getting really impatient. And you're like, fuck this, fuck that, trying to get everyone to hurry up.
We're demonetised now.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah,
So I'll set the scene. So
Tell us about the
I've
Chernobyl
forgotten
story.
about that.
me and Kate went on a lovely holiday to Ukraine, and we went to Chernobyl.
What year was this?
2012, 13, something like that. And they show you around like a model, don't they, to show you that they're not
It was the
it
visitor
up.
centre.
Yeah, the visitor centre. And Kate's was getting really restless because he wanted to go out into
It was
radiation
boring,
zone.
though.
Yeah, it was boring.
It
It
was
was boring, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
And so we were down the bottom of these stairs, waiting for everyone to come down, and he's shouting up, "Come on!" Bearing in mind, like, it's top security next to the world. Is it still the world's worst?
It's the world's biggest man-made disaster.
Yeah.
Man-made disaster.
So he's there shouting up at him, "Come on!" All
What are
like
you
this.
shouting? Give us
Well, I can't really remember, but
Show us how you were shouting, come on.
No,
well,
no.
he kind of
Come on!
He was going, come on, and he turned round at the bottom of the stairs, and there's like an intercom thing. He thinks it's a good idea to press that.
And it says
Presses
do not
it.
press on it, right?
Well, I don't know. He presses that. Within seconds, the doors swing open. 2 Ukrainian soldiers come in with massive fucking guns. He turns around to me and goes, "It was him," and points to me. And I'm just there like,
Oh, yes.
I mean,
I totally forgot about that.
yeah. Luckily, things weren't any worse than that.
It
Anyway,
was
there
so
you
good.
go.
But from the window, you could have thrown a stone at reactor number 4, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could have thrown a
Yeah, it's
stone
pretty
at the
gnarly.
one that blew up. So, and it's like, and there's a huge Geiger counter on the wall, like digital thing. You know, it tells you the radiation level, which I imagine is a complete lie because it looked like it was like a
Didn't you the first time you
safe level, but there's just no way. But
the first time you went, because you've been twice, right?
yeah,
The first time was it you and Moggins went?
yeah.
Didn't you take a Geiger counter with you, or did you rent one or something?
No, we didn't have one, but so you get the coach there. The coach picks you up in Kiev, and it's only about an hour from Kiev. And
Chicken
then
Kiev.
Once you've like gone through the checkpoint and all that, and the first place it drives to is the monument to the firefighters, which
Yeah.
is outside the you know what was reactor number 4 that blew up, and then you all get out, and as soon as everyone gets out, but you know it's a full coach of people, and everybody turns on their Geiger counters, and they all just go. You know what I
Pretty
mean?
gnarly,
Like,
pretty
and then
gnarly.
you,
So it's
then
still super reactive.
Oh, yeah.
well, of
then.
course,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, you know, but you just kind of assume you're going to get away with it because somehow they're organising public tours there. You know what I mean? But yeah, and it just is all this, just like in a film or something, and then it sort of hits you. This isn't really a good idea.
It's
you know,
It is really like that
Yeah.
road as you drive in, like all those trees on the side that are all like grown, all deformed and shit like that. The other
Red
thing,
Forest, yeah.
Isn't there still people living
Yeah.
around the proximity of...
If you were like over a certain age, you were allowed to move back. And,
Okay.
And there's all these like.
What, because you're pretty close to death anyway, so what's a little radiation going to do?
I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know. It was Soviet times, so who
Yeah.
knows what the.
So I've seen a documentary or two about people that still live within like a couple of mile radius of it.
Yeah,
yeah, they take you around to meet them.
Yeah, we went
did,
there.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't think we met anyone. Did we? I can't remember.
it was all kind of flooded, wasn't it? And I think we went to their shack and they were out or something.
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
pretty
They're
fun.
just like wooden shacks, you know, around the outskirts. And then the bulk of the tour is in Pripyat, which is the city where it's basically built for the workers of the power station. So it's like a 50,000 people city that just was evacuated overnight, and that was
that.
nobody to ever return, basically.
It's pretty.
So
it's
is
really,
fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting stuff. But
Yeah.
the other thing that freaked me out is, you know, when you go through the metal detector, radiation detector thing, and you have to put your hands on it, and it's like zzz, lets you through. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty scary. Shit.
Yeah, and that canteen that we went to.
Yeah,
We-
that's.
it
I've
was-
got that amazing photo that I took in there,
Yeah.
and there's one of the workers sat at the table at the other end, and he's looking at the camera, looking really pissed off that we're taking photos in there. And that. But then I guess you would be, wouldn't you? It's like
You'd think he'd be used to it by now.
it's pretty heavy shit. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that was Chernobyl. Where is this? I'm assuming that's probably one of the most weird places you visited, but you're quite well travelled. Where else have you gone that's weird?
Dark tourism.
North Korea is a good one. I
Oh
suppose.
yeah, no, I forgot you went there.
It's-
Tell us about that, because
Run
that's
us through
pretty.
all of that.
Run us through North Korea.
Okay, I mean it's kind of like you sort of have to set the scene. It takes a while to explain it, but yeah, it's
We got
kind
time.
of, if you've seen any of those Vice documentaries or whatever, where there's like actors placed on the streets, you know, all of that is completely true, you know, and it's
How did it come about? You wanted to go there? Was because you were at uni, weren't you? Were you studying like?
yeah.
That kind of thing.
I did 4 years at uni, so I'd just done my third year, and I was just about to go into my final year.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something. I guess I wanted to do a project because I did fine art, so I wanted my project to be as epic as I could possibly make it. And so, the advice that all the tutors would give you was you need to do something that you're genuinely interested in, so that you can really, get involved with it, And so I was thinking, okay, I want to go to North Korea. I'll go to North Korea. I'll take I'll do a documentary photography piece on it and hand print everything in the darkroom and make a book. And hopefully, it should be as long as the photos come out, it should be a winner, because it's like, at that time it was in the news all the time. It's like a kind of hot topic. So,
but that process of being allowed in there, like, was it? I mean, how do you even go about that?
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. I don't know if it still is easy now, but at the time, so I went 2013, I think. I just Googled it, and you can
use Google.
I can now, yeah.
Well done. You've come on
Thanks
a long
very
way,
much.
and you're since backing everything up to your iPod.
Yeah.
Do you still send faxes?
Yeah. I haven't sent a fax since I stopped working for Sorlac, actually.
Wow.
But the faxing was
That's
a
a
daily operation
yeah.
at Power Distribution. I can tell you. But so I just found this place that did tours for North Korea, and you just phone them up, and it's literally like going to Spain. It's like, do you want a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? We've got September, we've got August. What do you want? And it was literally that.
But
So I booked it for this company. Bought the flights. They took care of everything else, and then you just need to get a visa from the North Korean embassy, which is like a big house on the North Circular. They pick you up. And you stay in this huge hotel, which is basically a hotel that's purposely built for Westerners, I think, with like a revolving restaurant at the top. But in the basement, it's got everything, basically, like casino, swimming pool, spa, bowling, karaoke, restaurant.
to stop you going anywhere else.
Yeah, to keep you occupied. Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of on an island, so you could walk off the island. There's just, it's a road out. You could, but you would be the only 6'3" white person walking the streets on his own.
With Tourette's.
You wouldn't. It would take minutes before you were spotted, reported, picked up, and then you'd probably be sent home.
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it, really. And plus, the days are just really long. They're just packed full of all this weird stuff.
Like what?
So you're kind of tired by the end of it,
What kind of weird shit?
They took us to a like a secondary school one day, and you're just there in the middle of a school day, and you just go into the classrooms and
What there's kids there?
yeah.
Is there?
And then they took us to the science block, and then they said, because there's a guy giving us a tour, and there's this thing on the wall about cloning, and I said, what's this then? He goes, yeah, well, we clone rabbits here and stuff.
Fucking hell.
Like, so, well, do you? And then,
How old were the kids there?
well, I don't know, like
Secondary school.
secondary school.
And they're learning about cloning rabbits.
Well, I don't think they are. There's just all these things to make you think that they're so technologically advanced, and it's the promised land, but it's just so obvious, And then obviously you're not allowed to speak to anyone on. Not that you. Did
you have a minder that was making sure you weren't doing anything?
So it's me and there's this couple from Guildford that I was. That was who take an early retirement. They're about 60, and they were pretty cool actually. But it's just me and those two, and then we had two female minders, and a driver, and in a minivan.
And that was it.
And but because we had this minivan, and they were all up the front, sort of chatting, and I could be at the back. And then you're not supposed to take photos. They don't like it when you go out of Pyongyang. That's the capital, in case you didn't know. you pretty quickly come to the fields, and it was kind of around harvest time, and it's really obvious to see how poor everything is then, because instead of there being a combine harvester and 5 blokes in the field, there's 300 people from the village on their hands and knees, doing a harvest. And my photos, I had like a really fast 3200 film, and they're black and white, shot on film, and they literally they look like they could have been shot over 100 years ago. There's just no difference.
And how did you go about taking photos? 'Cause obviously, you're saying that they don't want you to take pictures and stuff like that.
Just wait till they were nattering in
then
front and just go for it. But there is a thing, and I did know about this beforehand, where if you take it, and all the guides tell you all the time, they constantly, in between various kind of eye-opening things that they take you to, which are eye-opening for not really the reasons that they'd hope. They take you to a lot of monuments and statues, and obviously North Korea is sort of based on a Soviet Russian model where, there'd be, in any city, there'd be 5 or 10 well-kept Lenin monuments, it was kind of, and so the founder of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, is sort of like regarded as a god. I mean, he's and actually, you one of the things they take you to is his mausoleum, and he's like preserved in a glass coffin. It's kind of, again, very sort of like Lenin's mausoleum in Red Square sort of thing. But they take you to all these monuments, and I've never seen monuments like it, because they're massive, but they're bronzes, but they look like they're copper, because they're top to bottom, they're polished all the time. So you'd never go anywhere where you'd seen a metal sculpture that looked like that. And anyway, so they always tell you, if you take a photo of the leader, it's got to be full. You can't cut him. It's like an offence to cut him. So the first thing I did, I purposely had a Polaroid, and I shot a Hockney joiner of the leader. Like this, and then they're all guarded.
Is that what that's called, a Hockney joiner?
Yeah, because
I didn't realise he
patented the.
Yeah,
not patented, but he was.
That was his thing, his style.
Yeah, he kind of explored it, didn't he?
Did they see you taking that photos like that?
No, the our 2 chaperones, who kind of became a bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest. They didn't. They were talking to the couple, I think, but all the monuments are guarded, and the guard, I saw the guard kind of like whispering to them, and then they came over, and I'd managed to I'd shot 2. I shot 1 digital and 1, and then I did 1 on a Polaroid, and then they came around and they said, we have to have, can we see your film? Can we see your camera? And I said, I just shot it on this, and I showed them the Polaroids. And I gave them the Polaroids in the end, just for the sake of not being sent home.
Yeah.
Basically, but I had digital ones as well.
Nice.
So that was all right. But and then every time you go to eat, you go to it's not like you're walking along and there's a restaurant. You go into kind of like an unmarked building that might be the bottom of a tower block or something, and you go up a few floors, and there's just a room where they're kind of alleging that it's a restaurant, but it's just a room where it's been designated to take tourists, where it's not open to any North Koreans, so you won't see anyone else dining there. There might be another group from a different tour, but you never get to mix with any North Koreans, and it's all really kind of strange. And then we go to the museum, and it was completely empty. There's no one there. And, I said, why isn't there anyone here? It's like, can't remember what they said, like it's lunchtime or something, like some
load of bullshit.
Yeah. And then other weird stuff, like they took us on a tour of the hospital, except they only went to one part of it where they had like all new stuff. And it was a maternity ward. Really weird. And there was like babies in crashes. But no, there's no mothers or anything anywhere.
Mhm.
It's like the babies had almost been borrowed to sort of
There's
set
like a
dress
prop.
this one
Yeah.
bit of the hospital. It was all new. Now, I mean, the rest of the hospital could have been the same, but it didn't seem like it, you know.
Yeah.
Was it like clearly designated with guards and shit that was the area they were showing you, and there was no chance that you'd be
Like
able
you
to
can't
see?
wander
Yeah,
out.
well, there's police, traffic police, secret police,
Yeah.
and then
And they probably all know that
it's
you're
got
there.
they've got that sort of Soviet system that they've inherited where everyone's encouraged to inform on their neighbour all the time.
Mhm.
It's pretty harsh. You know, I've read stuff where it said that, you know, North Korea today is worse than Soviet Russia under Stalin in the 30s. You know, it's kind of, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But they haven't got it easy, you know. But at the same time, it sounds kind of sick, but if you're there to check it out, it's fascinating, you know. It's you sort of like, well, it's a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really. I mean, that's sort of what dark tourism
Well, I
is.
was going to
isn't
say,
it?
that's
It's
what
like
it is,
somebody
isn't it?
from a country of privilege going to somewhere where they can, you know, see for themselves what's really going on, but also see how hard it is. You know, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
That's part of. Sadly, that's part of what makes it interesting.
Morbid curiosity.
You know, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but you know, it made a really good final project for uni. So
Yeah, swings and roundabouts.
yeah.
Let's talk about skating. What was your first instance of remembering a skateboard? What was the first point of experiencing skateboarding?
I suppose probably around school starting age, I suppose, like maybe 5 or something. There's, you know, just
1970.
seeing nothing specific. Well, I was born in 76, so you know, that would have been, you know, 70s boom. But obviously
What year did you
I
start
wasn't old
then?
enough to remember anything. 87.
Okay, a year
But
before me.
you know, I've seen 70s boards around,
Yeah.
maybe kids down the shops or whatever, and
What was your first board?
this and
The
that
one
on
that you
telly.
had, your first actual owned board
It's from my mum's catalogue. You know,
from like Littlewoods catalogue or Freeman's or something.
yeah, Freeman's or something. Or
Well, just like
Great Universe or whatever they're called.
What was it? There used to be around that time as Turbo 2s, wasn't it?
It was like that. Yeah, it was that sort of level, like almost unrideable crap.
Plastic wheels.
Yeah,
Plastic truck.
Mad Skull.
Mad Skull.
You seen that one?
No.
Oh, right. It's kind of.
Producer Fraser, can you Google that?
Yeah, it's a bit like a death board,
Right.
actually. It's actually like kind of a good graphic. It just says Mad Skull in red, and then it's like blood onto a skull with a big dagger through it.
Nice.
And it just
sounds
says
good.
Mad Skull on white. Just a fishtail.
They were all kind of that shape,
Okay.
weren't they? It was like
Yeah,
an inch long
completely
nose,
flat.
big domed Phillips screwdriver mounting bolts,
Yeah.
plastic thing.
Yeah.
The cellophane was put around the board before it had been built.
Oh, that was later. Mine
Oh,
didn't
right.
have that, but yeah, there was ones later on that had that.
Because
yeah.
I'd always be cutting mine out underneath the rail,
Yeah.
trying to get rid of the cellophane.
Yeah.
When did you start like really getting into it?
Immediately.
Straight away.
Yeah.
That's kind of like with me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, it
Well-
was like something quite almost what's the word?
Euphoric.
Not euphoric,
Yeah,
but
to
like
quote
it
Zola.
was straight. I was just like, whoop, that's it. I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, so I'd been into BMX for about a year and a half prior.
Could you do good endos,
I could do good endos, yeah.
wheelies?
Yeah, but I was never really like a good
Could you
wheeler.
do endos now?
Yeah, I could do an endo now.
Did you buy that BMX you were looking at
Not
last
yet.
week?
Not yet.
Was that retro one with what they call mag wheels? The
Oh, don't get me started
Skyway,
on it.
dear boy. Yeah.
Skyways,
It was days worth of conversation about what BMX to get.
and you didn't get it.
Well, I'm gonna I'm 47, so I'll be 50
What?
in 3 years, and my wife's she's promised that she'll buy me my dream BMX
Right.
when I'm 50. So I'm kind of
Holding out.
got my eyes on it. Yeah.
Maybe she'll buy it and stash it somewhere.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
But yeah. So sorry, I was I was really into BMX. Obviously, BMX and skate were very close at the time. They shared the same magazines.
Do you think you'd do BMX, and if you never took to skateboarding, do you think that would be? What do you think you'd be doing if you didn't get into skateboarding? Would it be BMX?
I couldn't answer that.
Yeah, it's a hard
it's weird,
one.
isn't it? It's like another
knows?
reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you didn't find skating,
You're-
what the
I
hell
hate
would
to
you be doing?
think. To be
You
honest.
almost try to think on the spot of an answer, don't you? Just to
Yeah.
answer it like, oh, I'd probably be robbing cars or burning down houses or something.
I can't really. I doubt it'd be that, but you know, I don't know. But yeah, my local shop was Phase 7, and they
Wolf and
you know,
Cross.
yeah, they had a lot of amazing BMX stuff. So I started going there whenever I could get my parents to take me there, and it was just. I still remember like the smell of it.
I remember
and-
it's because it was all dark, wasn't it? It was all black walls, and it was just like
Yeah.
boards. It had all the POW stuff as you walked in. Because the count, when I remember it, the counter was on the left.
Yeah.
You walked in, and then they had the storeroom at the back.
Yeah.
All the POW boards. I remember they had those tracker setup kits, you know, tracker
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah,
and
I remember
stuff
those,
like,
yeah.
that was always there. What were the wheels that Tracker did with them?
Ollies.
That's it.
Tracker ollies.
Yeah, and then you'd have like the sail decks on the right, which is where I got my first. I got a skate rags deck from there, and then there was all like. Then you had like Brand X. There's always Brand X, Sean
They were
Goff.
big on Brand X.
Yeah, there was. Did they were distributors for it, weren't they? Is that why there was always so much there?
I think so. Yeah.
And then later on, as it went through to kind of like the early 90s H Street days, do you remember the Matt Hensley Tri-Stain king size? Matt Hensley king size. I just remember going in there to get one with my brother, like saved up. And I remember him opening the door into the stock room, and there was a big stack of them, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, and then we both had one.
Oh,
Mad
that's
Skull.
cool.
There's the graphic you're talking about. Is that the one you're talking about?
Hell yeah.
There you go.
You should get that board reworked into a def graphic. That's a fucking good graphic for
It's not bad, is
to
it?
say what board it is.
I told you it was good.
Yeah, Phase 7. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So Phase 7 was an incredible shop, and it was the 80s. Everything was fluoro.
Yeah.
I loved the colours.
Dogtown faded.
Yeah, and I was just
graphics.
really into BMX, and I had a BMX, and I saved up all my pocket money to get different. You know, like I had lilac tyres and Skyway handlebars, and you know all this stuff. I was really into it.
Did
And,
you say the Hensley tricolour board is what you think inspired the Zarosh?
No.
it is? That's true.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's what you said on the death
The
one,
Matt
I
Hensley
think.
king size.
Oh,
yeah.
the shape of the board.
It's
the-
kind of based on that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the,
Yeah,
the
you're
actual
right then.
print, but
No, not the print.
the an early 90s Matt Hensley shape inspired.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know. You know better than me.
So you saved up, got your lilac tyres.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. And then
Did you have Spokey Dokies?
no.
Did you ever put a can in your back wheel so it went?
Hell yeah.
We used to put like bits of cardboard.
Oh, bless you.
I'd do
that's
the
poverty,
can
innit?
and just have it on the bike all day long. But yeah, so I'm really into that. But it, I was about 10 or something at the time, and it was kind of a little bit of a ball ache trying to fix the bike all the time, things being loose on it, and it was like a little bit beyond my capabilities as a 10-year-old to sort of have a fully functioning bike all the time, and it kind of used to annoy me. So there was a kid at my school who had a Brand X Dogma 3 that he got for Christmas, and he wasn't much of a skateboarder. I think he was kind of like easing out of skating.
All
anyway.
Bale Gun Gary's watching on the live. Bale Gun Gary, big fan. Sorry, continue.
Hello, Bailgun Gary. Hello
Sorry,
there.
yeah, go
Hello
on.
there.
We need to get him on the show.
Hello there.
Yeah. Anyway, so I tried to swap my bike for this Brand X Complete, which would have been a really good deal for the kid because it was fairly good BMX, but he didn't go for it, and then but anyway, I eventually got a board, and then when I got a board, that was kind of it, you know.
No looking back.
Long story, not so short.
Yeah. I remember going into Phase 7 as well, and Joe Burlow was there. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And he I was in there for some knee pads, and he was like, "I've got some in my car," and he went out to his Mercedes, I think, that was parked out the front, and just came in with some fluoro, like green elbow pads. I was like,
Oh,
nice.
with black caps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had those knee
Yeah.
pads.
I was
Yeah.
like, You live next door to Dave Allen.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Were you skating before you lived next to him, or?
No.
Right.
So yeah, we lived on this council estate in Ware, and it was with, that's right, in Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
And it was me, my mum, and my nan lived there, and Dave lived next door. And then he was just mad into BMX, and he had always had the best bikes. And
So
stuff.
was this pre?
This is before skating. This
Right,
is
okay,
like
gotcha.
me as a 8, 9, 10-year-old, and he'd do like flatland out in the road because we lived on this horseshoe road.
Yeah.
It was quite quiet, and he'd just be doing freestyle in the road, and he was well, for a 10-year-old, it was just mind blowing. It was like, you know, and always used to watch him, and I was just in awe of it. Just loved that. So that's kind of what got me into BMX, and then I think my mum got an issue of BMX action bike off of him, and then it had a Phase 7 advert in it, and then that's how I found out about it, you know, introduced to everything. And then around about, I think he got bored. I think he always skated a little bit because there's a lot of that going on. A lot of people had bikes and boards in the area, and then he started skating fully in '86, and then that seemed a lot more accessible because BMXing was I found it quite hard to be good at it, and the bike kept breaking, and it was really expensive and blah blah blah, and you can't take it on a bus and all this. It was just kind of like I need to get a board, and eventually, you know, I kind of followed him into skateboarding. So, and then I started a year later, right? Summer of '87. I got a board
Because Dave started getting hooked up pretty quick, didn't he? In the bigger picture.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess he was probably sponsored by about 89
And that was
ish by
Santa Cruz
H
through
Street.
Oh, H Street first.
Yeah.
Through Phase 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he always had the best
Best
gear.
shit. Yeah. Did he ever give you stuff?
Loads. Yeah.
So was he getting hooked up pretty good?
Yeah, they knew a lot of people like Shane O'Brien and people who worked at Phase 7 who used to rip it off pretty bad, I think. And they always, like, his mate had like his mate Jerry lived on the road at the back of our school, and you could wait for him to, and he worked at Phase 7. And you could wait for him to walk down in the morning early before school.
Yeah.
And he'd have like a dustbin liner full of stickers. And
Nice.
Literally full to the brim. And you could just buy stickers and rip grips and stuff.
Rip Grip was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Pretty crazy. So, you know, especially in the 80s. I mean, as skateboarding's gone on, stickers seem to mean less and less and less. But
I don't know. We still sell fucking thousands of them.
Really?
But then we kind of... I mean, this is boring shit, won't put this in, but like, because we list every single sticker online, so people can go on and just yes, and people buy stacks of them at a time. So
Oh wow, because they're not cheap now, are they?
no, 2-3 quid a pop.
Well, mind you, they were 80p then,
Yeah.
which was a lot. But I forgot what I was going to say.
So you would, like, he would always hook you up with boards and stuff.
Dave would,
living next door to you. So
yeah,
you
once I started, I didn't, because by that time my mum had got remarried and we moved to the other side of town.
Yeah.
And you know, we bought a house and stuff, and and then my nan had moved as well. She'd moved to a little bungalow. She's sort of downsized. But I think one day I just sort of bumped into Dave, and I went round his house on like a Saturday morning, and you know, I was just buzzing because he he had all his, stickers and boards, and it was just, it was like and he's already sponsored, he's already in the mags, really doing it, So I went round there and he must have seen that I was like a proper skateboarder and was fully into it. This took about 89, 90 now, and I just started going around there all the time. We started hanging out, going skating, because I think his friends were kind of drifting out of skating. They're in their early 20s, and they kind of drifted out, but he was, hardcore about it. And actually, my friends, I had a little crew that I skated with, and by about 90, 91, they were doing stuff like just going ice skating to try and get girls, and or trying to get into the pub, or just this boring shit. It just was like, what's the point of that, And so, and I knew I didn't want to do anything else. I had no interest in anything else whatsoever.
Apart from skating?
Yeah, so I wasn't going to stop. I was just like, why have you stopped? You're missing out here, So, and he was kind of at the same situation. So we just sort of, despite our age difference, we just hung out all the time. And
where did you go skating? Was that like the time of the ramp in the woods? Was that Hertford or where?
Yeah, that was still going. Hertford, yeah.
So that was like around 90, wasn't it? 91, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure what year that fell into disrepair, because it's a long time ago now, but it was a vert ramp, Dave's intro in Rad.
Yeah.
That's at Hertford ramp, when it was a vert ramp, 12-foot wide vert ramp.
And it was just in the woods, wasn't it?
It's in a bomb hole.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
I never went there.
The farmers' fields. It's quite hard to find if you don't know where you're going, but right deep in the woods.
12-foot wide. How high?
Well, it's just a little vert ramp. I mean, when I went there as a kid, it seemed like it was about 20 foot high, but it's probably, I don't know,
9
8.5,
foot,
something like that, 9. And then that got cut down to a midi that was about 7-ish. And then it got really popular, and whatever year that was, I suppose 89. And we used to go there a bit. And then there was that ramp, Beast Manor, just past Hertford in, I think it was Epping Green or somewhere. It's like these two brothers.
Yeah.
And
I heard of it. I never went there.
Yeah, their parents were quite wealthy.
Yeah.
And their garden was like a 4 or 5 acre field that they had quad bikes to get around it, stuff like that. I think they had a really successful catering business or something. Anyway, they had this vert ramp that's pretty full size, like probably bigger than Stevenage actually.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of people who had big ramps back then, it seemed. There was a few kids that went to my school that had no idea, and their parents were building ramps, and the coping would be made of like drain pipes, and the flat bottom would be either non-existent or just far too much of it. There was,
there must be countless ones of those over the years.
There was one in Rushton. Which
I went to it once.
Did we go together? I can't remember. And it had,
Chris McIntosh took me there.
Yeah.
And it was at night though.
Yeah, and the coping was like...
It was really high, a big ramp though,
yeah, it was like probably 6-7 foot, and the platform had roofing felt on it, and the coping was put on the edge of where the ramp met. So you'd have that, and then you'd have the coping just sticking out 2 inches. Yeah. And it was just some kid who liked skating, and his parents were like, "Yeah, have a ramp."
Yeah. So, there was a couple of kids that had like fairly well-off parents and nice houses that had mini ramps around Hertford.
That one I was saying about with the guy who had proper drain pipe, plastic drain pipe for coping. That was in what I'm assuming, looking back now, was kind of like an outbuilding they'd converted, and it had full lighting and heating they put in to make it. So it was like, it's built. The ramp was built into every inch of the building. It was fucking weird. And they had that guy, his dad made his money from the boards that cakes come on in shops. He had a company that did that.
And where was this?
It was between Buntingford and Royston along the A10. It was a little village on the side there. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was weird. I remember going there and just being like, this is fucking weird. I can't remember the guy's name now, Chris something. But it was shit ramp. Just an axle still on it, and it just cracked. Yeah. So obviously us being from similar neck of the woods, we were quite lucky with skate parks for old skate parks. We had Stevenage, Nebworth, Harrow, Romford, all pretty in the bigger picture, kind of close to each other. I mean, I grew up skating Stevenage. That's probably where we first met. I would have thought at some point. I don't really remember. Yeah, you've always just been an irritant in my life as long as I can remember. But the vert ramp at Stevenage, looking back,
down in generations because now you're the irritant in my life.
Great. The vert ramp at Stevenage, I always regret never getting into that because that ramp looked perfect for learning on. But I was just, around the time I was going there was when wheels were getting smaller and it was pressure flips on the banks and that. But then it just got completely torn down. But that ramp looked good. Did you ever skate that?
I mean, I tried.
Yeah.
It was kind of. I mean, I used to drop in and like.
I don't think I ever dropped in on it.
Just
that wasn't big though. It was 9 foot, wasn't it? Wooden ramp with a metal surface.
Nine,
interesting.
Somewhere between 9 and 10, I think.
I've got a picture of the backsmith of Cab from the demo. Did you go to that demo there?
No, my parents. We were on holiday.
Yeah, I didn't go. I went to the Hate Street one there.
I went to the Santa Cruz one.
Yeah, I never went to that.
Yeah. But yeah, that must have been insane.
Yeah, but we were quite lucky with parks around that way.
Yeah, Nebworth.
Nebworth was unreal.
Oh my God.
Imagine skating that now.
I know. Imagine what would go down on that.
Yeah. That snake run.
Oh, it was amazing.
And even just the what they called the freestyle area, just that flat ground with that weird bank at the end of it. Yeah, that's where I learned to drop in.
Yeah, I
because you could build up the height, couldn't you? You could drop in a little bit, build it all the way up.
I just watched that, off on a tangent slightly, I just watched that documentary about Wham.
I haven't seen that.
And there's some footage of George Michael.
Skating at Nebworth?
Yeah.
No way. Didn't Dave have a photo, one of the last photos there?
Yeah,
Pivot
the
fakie.
last session.
Yeah, that's so
I've
sad.
got a feeling that Percy might have taken those photos.
I think you're right, yeah.
Mm.
So it was at Nebworth House, and Nebworth House decided that it didn't fit in their image having a skate park, so they just flattened it.
It was absolutely mental. There's a picture, and I've tried to search for it since.
Can you just
producer?
Can you just Google picture of Nebworth House skate park concrete?
There's a picture of
and airdrop it to us.
What?
An aerial photo of it.
Aerial photo of it's like Led Zeppelin or someone playing at Nebworth in the 70s.
Yeah.
And there's just, it's really high up, and Nebworth House is just acres and hundreds of acres of fields, and it's all these people around this, thousands and thousands and thousands. Right in the corner, you can clearly see the skate park just behind them.
Yeah,
it's like an amazing picture. But it was in the Sunday Express magazine years ago, and I've never been able to find it since.
I might be wrong. It's been that long, obviously, since it was there. But the clover leaf bowl setup. I don't remember those hips being that steep. Like at Romford, they were quite like that. But I remember it being pretty mellow. I remember people like just going round it. Maybe that's
it had like the one part of lip was just about sharp enough to get a lip slide on part of it.
Oh, it's just like, I mean, if that was built today, it'd just be unreal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That snake run going in, and like Pete Dossett having all the photos in Skateboard Mag and stuff. There we go.
Yeah,
fucking look at that. It's insane, isn't it?
Is that going to come up on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereabouts? Is it going to be like?
Put
it
it
in
wherever
hands,
you want it.
Hold your hand still.
See, this is Nebworth.
So this bit here, along here, that's where I learned to drop in because it was dead small, so you could build up your confidence and work all your way up.
Flat there, so it's just.
Yeah, the bowl bit at the end there was gnarly, wasn't it? Didn't it have a doorway in
and
it.
What's that? An ice skating rink, or is that?
No, that's the
freestyle area.
And then you've got a tight bank at the end.
That's massive.
And there's Alex Mole had
That's
a couple
incredible.
of tricks in Spirit of the Blitz, didn't he? Like frontside style fish coming out of that, which at the time I didn't know how you could ollie out.
Does that clover bowl there? Is that kind of like humped in the middle and raised down?
Yeah,
so you can...
that's what I was just talking about. So it was quite mellow, and I remember people just tearing about.
Yeah,
I mean that's just insane.
And that's a stair set randomly.
Well, yeah, but not to skate, to get up, because it, this goes right round and then down and in. Yeah, unreal.
I'd love a skate park like that.
I know.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Any skate park designers propose something like this.
Imagine if Nebworth came back and they were like, actually, we made a bit of a mistake here. We're going to replicate it all. Oh my God.
But it's just insane, wasn't it? In the grounds of a stately home.
Yeah.
That was.
I remember going there with my mum one like summer holidays. She was like, "We're going to go and watch an archery show," and I was like, "Fuck this." Went there and I was like, "I'm going to skate." She was like, "No, you paid for you to come and watch this." And I was like, "Fuck this," and just went skating because you can't not skate.
Naughty boy, innit?
Naughty little
can't not
bastard
skate
Toby.
What a tosser.
Changing subject a bit.
subject.
What were you like at school? Because I can imagine you were an absolute.
I mean, it
So
says it on
when
the
I
board.
started secondary school,
Yeah.
at the end of the first year, I won the award for like
Biggest
best in my class
Right.
Nice.
at the end of the year.
What happened?
And I think to be honest with you, I think me focusing like so hard like that, it just took everything I had. I was just sort of burnt by
You did it for a year and that was it.
And by the second year, I was one of the naughtiest kids in the school.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then
So-
you carried on being like that forever.
Bit of a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, I didn't even turn up to some of the exams, to be honest. I just well and
Nutter.
truly had enough of it, really. And I didn't like people that didn't skate.
Yeah.
There was almost nobody else in the entire school.
Yeah.
It was pretty lonely being a skater around that time, wasn't it? Like,
Well, but it was sort of good because you
hate people.
Yeah, because you just, I'm part of this thing, which is there isn't anything better.
Yeah.
And you don't even know. Fuck you.
And you don't even need anyone to go and do it. You can just go skating.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
it was kind of that anti.
Yeah, and we were
group
going,
sports and stuff.
I had a couple of friends that were older and had cars, and so by the sort of 4th and 5th year of senior school, I was going to St Albans 3 nights a week, probably, and wherever else, if it was dry or whatever, the rest of the time. So we were skating all the time, and there was didn't really need anything else.
Did St Albans years ago have a door at the end, the one that you walled over?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's recently, but Nicholson uploaded, I think, some raw comp footage there of like you and Zorlak, and that wall ride from the bank, is it? No, quarter over.
It was
the
flat
doorway.
Bank, wall ride, quarter pipe, wasn't it? And you went from the wall ride over the flat bank, over the door to the other flat bank, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Those,
that's an incredible.
I mean, I've got down here. I want to talk about St Albans comps because they were something else.
Yeah.
It's always said they used to go wild. But
Yeah, we
let's
never-
get back to that.
So to put it into perspective, like, what year was the first one? Probably 92.
Oh wow. Yeah, probably. Were you in that?
93, I think, was probably the first one I entered.
Right.
And that was around... No, I'm trying to think. Maybe it was earlier than that.
Because I can remember you had a run and you fell off a lot.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
obviously probably nervous and you
Yeah.
were a young kid.
Yeah.
But I do remember you ollied up the box
And
you
then-
were late shove off.
Yeah.
And you had the original colourway half cabs on.
Nice, Toby.
I
Shutting it
remember,
down.
I mean,
Biggest
like,
fan.
I like, the contest's not for me. There's too many people there for a start.
Yeah, you hate skating around people.
Yeah, but like Rodney Clark was the person who was kind of the main guy getting all that stuff done. Am I right? Yeah. It was kind of him who got the skate park being built there, wasn't it? Because it's a youth club essentially.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day because there's a woman that wants to make a documentary about it.
Yeah.
We had this discussion, so I don't know, but Rodney and some others used to build the ramps. And
Yeah, and he had his checkout photo was at Pioneer. Was it Melon Grab
Melon
off a
off,
launch?
yeah.
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 Oh, it's mad how you remember that stuff, but that early days of skating, I'm sure you're the same. It's like ingrained. It's burnt into your brain, and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But so the competitions were insane. It was like there wasn't much going on, and St Albans was indoor, so you didn't have to worry about weather. And there'd just be queues of people waiting to get in.
Yeah, it was.
And then
rammed.
as soon as the door opened, it was like, and there'd be like,
Absolutely
they'd have
rammed.
the crowd barriers down the side.
On the left-hand side of the
Yeah,
park.
and like anyone landed a trick, everyone went absolutely apeshit, didn't they? It was like there was tables getting smashed up. It was just carnage.
Yeah,
And then
it was really good.
yeah,
Really good energy.
yeah, it was like apart from the Radlands comps, it was kind of similar, but
Yeah,
it was like you just don't get that now, do you? It's too red tape and stuff now, which I understand, but
They're the two that because they both had quite a lot of comps, and they were, you know, it was, I think, just word spread because there were so few of us in skating at the time. These are the ones, you know, this is the place to be. You got to be here. Don't miss it. You know.
Yeah, obviously pre-internet and stuff, people would go to it, and there'd be people from all over, wouldn't there? It was just there'd be like all over the country. People would go there, be camping out in the car park, and
it'd just be unbelievable. The people, so we just lived in the middle of Dingley Dell, didn't we? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, you know, and all of a sudden you go to the Pioneer on a certain day and flipping
Tom Penny was
Penny's
there. Mansouri was always about, wasn't he, as well? Have you got any good Tom Penny stories? I mean,
that's one we've not really explored much recently.
No, but I mean,
I did see him the other day. He came to Margate for about 2 hours.
well, how come? What like just turned up?
Yeah, where did you see him? What was he doing?
He was so he's really good friends with Jagger.
Yeah.
You should definitely get Jagger on the
Jagger's
show.
moved to Margate, isn't he?
He lives in Broadstairs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but it's just up the street, basically.
Yeah, we'll get Jagger on.
I'd love to get Jagger on.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
you should. Yeah. So they're really good buddies. So Tom was back in England, and he went to visit Jagger, and then Jagger's like mad into reggae. He's got a huge reggae record collection.
Yeah, I follow him.
He DJs
he's
and
like
stuff.
He's like one of the inspos for learning about reggae.
Yeah, and
like him and Cardiel, I sometimes see writing on each other's
yeah,
posts
they're
because
good.
Cardiel's
They're good
obviously
friends. Yeah,
Cardiel's obviously
Yeah.
into the reggae movement.
They spin a lot of 45s. Yeah, so Tom was just visiting him. So Tom and Vera came to visit, and then there was a reggae night on in Margate. It's like one of Jagger's friends, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to be at this." I said, "Oh, I'll come meet you," and there he was,
The man,
big Tom in the Big M.
the man and the myth. Was he in a tracksuit with a gold chain dangling down?
I can't remember what he had on, but you know, he had a big smile on his face, and he
You speak to him much
yeah. Well, that's what I was there for,
to see those guys. Yeah.
yeah. So it was just nice, yeah. I saw him about 3 times last year. He came to NAS to watch Wu-Tang.
I heard that.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, I remember it very clearly. You probably had more experience of it, but like when Penny first came on the scene at the St Albans comps, and he was riding, he was New Deal flow rider at that time, and he was doing frontside flips, but not catching them at that time. He was kind of frontside flipping near the coping and sliding down, and then it was kind of a year later that he started doing court flips.
All right.
You know, and actually, you know, sort of changing from knocking them around on the floor.
Were you at that first comp when he turned up?
Don't
And
remember.
he still had that really extreme vert wall, and he's doing melancholy to nose slap on the top of the vert wall and stuff. And it was no one had ever seen him.
Was that when it was like the
Before,
hip
really.
quarter pipe thing along the wall?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think I was at the very first one, because that was that kind of when he was still riding like shape boards, you know, from the sort of 90s.
It was whatever the first comp was. So it's probably 90. Might even been 91 actually.
Yeah, the first one I remember is when he was on Flow for New Deal, big, huge trousers.
Oh, okay. No, this is pre that.
And
he did a massive sail flip to fakie on the vert wall.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Just everyone was like, whoa, who's that?
Yeah. It's weird because
Mental.
we've spoken about this plenty of times on this and off this.
I think I know exactly where you're going to go.
Just how much of how it changed the game, him and his skating.
Oh, yeah.
It was like you can't even get that across to kids now.
No, I know. When I went to meet him, like I said, it was on a Friday, and it was the Friday of Horsey's motorbike show.
Yeah.
So we were all at this. He had it at Pete Doherty or the Libertines bar.
Yeah.
Pete Doherty or whoever owns. it's the pre-party for the bike show, and the bike show's in Dreamland over the weekend, and they've got a mini ramp and stuff. It's a really good weekend. It's mainly bikes, but it's a bit of skating as well. Max Chef came over. There's a party at my house and stuff. It was really cool. So it was the first night of that, and I was just like, so I was there, obviously, with everyone, and then I was going off to walk 10 minutes down the road to meet Tom and Jagger for a bit. Obviously, Tom's in Margate. I'm going to...
Yeah, you're going to go
and
see him.
I made the mistake of telling someone, I was like, I'm going to... Tom Penny's in town, I'm going to meet him. And they're all like... When I came back, they were all like, oh, how's your best mate Tom? And all this. It's like, what? Like, you're missing the point here. Like, it's not... It is somebody that I know, and who happens to be...
In your hometown?
Like, one of the greatest skateboarders ever lived, and he's just come to Margate. Of course I'm going to go and see him. Like,
yeah, anyone
going
would.
to see him is more important than hanging out with a load of greasers at a motorbike show.
Yeah.
It's no brainer.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm going to do that, but they're kind of like, oh yeah, you just went to see. It's like, it's not really like that. It's like,
Yeah. But people don't understand the effect Tom Penny had on the UK scene.
No,
and then
yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, there's nothing really has happened since that you can compare it to.
It's 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
literally.
I've said every time that he's like, obviously one of the most influential UK skateboarders and one of the only UK skateboarders aside from like Rowley or Ben or someone like that to go to America at that time and to make such an impact on the American scene, because American skating is so far advanced in British skating. But Tom, like you said, 10 years ahead was there with them at that time. And I still don't think there's a lot of British skateboarders that can hold up to what Tom did.
Yeah, but the way he did it as well, like the tricks,
he didn't even care.
Yeah, it was just...
want to do it.
All the legends of him, just like that footage where he's just skating over the rail in America, where it's like undercover and he's just flipping it frontside flip, switch flip, and it's all fast go, everything.
Whilst on mushrooms.
But there's just loads of good stories, like
apparently
with the lights going out and you can still hear him skating.
Yeah.
And did he do the meanwhile gap? It's like the whole fucking
blindside nollie flip fakie.
It's the whole essence of Tom, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that Radlands comp, the British Championships, when everyone was there, and then I didn't really see it, but people say that there was some of them was kind of like vibing him, weren't they?
People used to spit on him.
So there was the year before he was wearing the green polo.
So that's the year that he won.
Yeah. So the year before, 5. So 94.
So
maybe it was even 93 and 94.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like he was skating the ledge, and the US pros were getting in his way and stuff like that. That's what I heard. Whether that's
and
true
then a year later, they were all fucking
they were like
looking up to him, like what?
Because he'd been out to America at that point.
Yeah,
hadn't
but
he?
I think it's just like everybody knew that that's the best skater in that room.
Yeah,
and that some people had
couldn't handle it.
Difficulty swallowing that pill.
Yeah.
Well, imagine being this big American pro coming over to the UK, thinking I'm going to go to this UK comp and fuck it because no one's on our level, and then you've got this kid that no one knows that just wipes the floor with him.
Do you remember all the Brazilians that used to come to Radlands as well? There used to be just loads of them, weren't there? Like, was it Radil Jr.? Was it him? There was loads of them. They were so good, weren't they?
We need comps like that again.
They were so consistent. It was just unreal.
We need comps like that again in the UK.
He almost won Munster. He was like about a point away from winning.
Yeah.
One of the years Bastian won. But just trying to think of a Tom Penny story. We went round his house once, his mum's house in Oxford. We had that tiny little mini ramp
in the
one of
garage
the
thing.
outbuildings.
Yeah.
Does he have anywhere permanent to live at the moment, or is he just freeballing it? Because every time I see footage of him, I'm like,
He's been getting around a bit recently.
I was like, where do you reside?
He's been around Spain and
because
he
the video
was in Oxford for quite a while.
Because a video just popped up of him having a skate with Flo Marfet. Was it?
He's been in Barcelona, and he
Barcelona with
Yeah.
Wayne Cullen, Flo Marfet, and
he's been all over.
I just always wonder, like, where do you reside permanently? Like, if he has a place, or
I think he was in Oxford for quite a while.
I mean, he's got the whole skateboarding scene at his disposal. If someone called you and they were like, Tom's in town, he needs a place to stay. If you had a 1-bedroom flat, you're going to give him your room and you're going to sleep on the floor. You know what I mean?
I always think with Penny that there's just the general public in Oxford being largely completely unaware that it spawned one of the greatest skateboarders ever, and how like that is just.
Oh, so this must be something in the water because Alex
Yeah.
Mole wasn't exactly crap at skating either.
Yeah.
And Sean Goff before that.
Yeah.
You know, incredible for the time.
Yeah.
So you were saying you
So-
went round his house.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
sorry, yeah.
3 exceptions to the rule there.
Yeah.
You know.
So you went round his house at his mum's house, you said.
Yeah, we went round. He had the little mini ramp, which was really fun.
Mhm.
But his mum had somebody staying, and they were staying in like the. Maybe they. I don't know if they were in the. No, I think they were living in this like outbuilding next to the ramp, as I remember it. But they just so happened that they were the best didgeridoo player in Europe. This person that was living there, he was like big in the didgeridoo game.
Didgeridoo
I just
game.
remember that.
You ever played a didgeridoo?
No, I never had the pleasure.
Did you hear them
Privilege.
play? Did you hear them play the?
I can't
didgeridoo?
remember. I
It's
can't
hard to
remember.
say
It's
that.
just that.
Say didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
Say it 3 times.
Didgeridoo, didgeridoo, didgeridoo.
Fucking hell, you're good with your mouth. Aren't you?
That's what she said. So yeah, that's yeah. That was,
Did you see Tom skate that ramp, that little one? Was he just doing? I mean, there's some footage in one of the roller skates,
Yeah.
isn't there?
yeah,
Fake inward, heel to tail slap, and
yeah. It was around that time.
kick flip
Yeah.
out the top to nose slap. I mean, how do you even get out of that? It's like 2 foot high. It looked like, didn't it?
Maybe less.
Do you remember my mini ramp in my garage? 2 foot high, whippy as fuck. You came to skate it,
Did I?
yeah,
Which garage?
in Buntingford. I've got footage of it somewhere.
Maybe we'll put it in here if you can dig it out. We need more Toby footage in there.
It's the only ramp I ever did blunt kickflip out on. 2 foot.
Rad. On footage.
That's somewhere, yeah.
Nice.
Actually, it's in a roller skates video. It's in one of those ones over there behind producer Fraser.
I'd be hyped to see that.
I think it's in. Is it Exalted? I think it ended up in there.
Is that the part snowboard?
Yeah.
Is that the
snowboarding
one with
one,
the
is
front
it?
side blunt slide on the ledge?
So are we still on
That's-
penny stories or?
I haven't really
are we
got
on that?
anything that I can think of, to be honest.
But we're all
off the top of
agreed
my
that
head.
that guy is an absolute legend.
I mean, it's like there was a thread on Slack where it said like Tom Penny's magnum opus kind of part, and all these people saying this part was and this part was. But I left a comment on there saying he is his own magnum opus. You know what I mean? Like Tom is his own best thing, and he got a load of like nice thumbs up and agrees and stuff. But anyway, we can talk about Tom for a long time.
Let's talk about you and your sponsors. Who was the first person apart from Dave that gave you free stuff? Because I'm assuming Dave was like, "Do you need a board? Do you need wheels?"
What was your first legitimate hookup where it would be sent for you and it wasn't a second or
Fans, I think.
Vans? Nice.
Was that before Death?
Yeah,
Because you're on Vans for quite a while, right?
10 years.
10 years. So you've ridden for Vans, Osiris, Circa.
No, it goes.
Hey, give
Give
us
us
a
it in
timeline.
time
goes
order.
Fans.
10 years at Vans is quite a good length of time. In
Yeah,
it,
it's really good.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Vans, and then I got this offer from Vox, and
I
it was
remember
like
Vox.
a lot of
Jeez.
shit. Yeah.
Did you get paid from any of them?
Well, it was always sort of talked about, but there was some photo incentive and there was some travel budget.
Specifically for you, travel budget.
Yeah,
That was good.
yeah, but and then it was all kind of hinged on my performance and the brand actually growing.
Yeah.
And I guess it didn't
Yeah.
grow, and
So
I think they figured out that there was much better skaters that they could have had. So it was Vans, and then it was like Vox for a few years, and then it was Circa,
yeah.
I used to love Vox.
and then I was on Circa, and Osiris were doing the big push, and I phoned up, and Circa was kind of teetering on the edge
Yeah.
of, you know,
On its arse.
and I phoned up Matt Law just on the off chance. I said, "Oh, you know, have you got room for me on the big push?" And he goes, "Yeah." And yeah, it's probably best if we move you over to Osiris. So then I was,
So was Vox done through Matt Law's thing as well?
yeah.
What was it called? I can't remember now.
Project
That's it,
distribution.
Project
I think?
Distribution. and they had Osiris, Vox.
Ezekiel Clothing,
What was the board brand they had?
Minute.
That's it.
I'm only really just learning about Matt Law, but he's done a lot skateboarding
Yeah, he's a
wise.
good dude. He's
Yeah, he
seems
seems
the other
really-
day actually at that.
Seems really rad.
Yeah, he's been
London
around a
Calling
long
thing.
time, hasn't he? Been sorting people out.
Yeah.
So they moved you over to Vox. Sorry, Osiris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vox to Osiris.
Yeah.
And then after Osiris, was it? You were on 88 for a bit. Or did I
No.
make that up?
No, it wasn't. That would have been before. But no. So then that.
Did you ever rock
sort of-
D3s when you rode for
No,
Osiris?
no. But I when I got on, I had a bad toe that I'd stubbed trying to jump this big fountain gap in the Barbican, and so I got these pretty chunky shoes, and it was a blessing, to be honest, because it was exactly what I needed, and I had those on the Osiris Big Push actually. But yeah, so that was it. We did the Big Push. It's pretty cool actually, and then that kind of just fizzled out, and then I was pretty much, after 18 years of free shoes, I was in a footwear limbo until now. So Amanda Perez
At Vans.
flows me some Vans.
That's good. She's a good egg, isn't she?
Yeah, so it's sort of come full
I wish
circle.
she could flow me some Vans.
I'm sure she would if you
Oh,
wanted
I'd
to.
feel like I'm taking the piss asking for stuff.
I mean,
but
why don't we get her on the podcast?
black and white
she's
half
pretty-
cabs, UK
Yeah, she'd
8.
be good.
She's pretty rad.
She's
Yeah.
good.
She's got a lot of stuff going
She's a
on.
good girl.
So you
Yeah.
still, like, if somebody else came and hit you up and offered you a good deal, shoe sponsor, you'd be keen, yeah?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, what you got?
So if Crocs hit you
No,
up...
not
No,
Crocs,
wait
not
for
Crocs,
it.
man.
Yeah, but if they
Jeez.
said, look,
What are you
we
talking about?
we know, like, our shoes are the biggest, weirdest shoes out there, and we know that you're the weirdest skateboarder out there. How much money would it take to ride for Crocs and be the front man for Crocs and get your own Crocs Pro model?
Oh, imagine
How much money? Come on,
Crocs
name your
Pro
price.
model.
Name your price.
I don't know.
And we can at Crocs to
How
get
much
it
would
sorted.
you do it for?
Fuck, I don't know. Like, Crocs
Are
is
we
like a
looking for-
multi-billion-dollar company.
Are we saying what are you saying? Yearly or
I'd
monthly
say-
paycheck? $2,000 monthly paycheck.
Fuck no.
$2,000.
I'd say
We'll get out of bed for that.
I'd say it'd have to be, for me personally, it's got to be like a sort of 10 grand a month job, innit?
Yeah.
Something
I
like
mean,
that.
I know some people.
Yeah, that'd be for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
I'd say something like you can do 100 grand lump sum.
Although that's only 120 grand a year. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like enough. does
Yeah,
it?
no. So you want from Crocs 10 grand a month,
No, 20.
20 grand a month, royalties, percentage of sales.
Fuck it, yeah.
Yeah, how many
Well, if he
colourways
has
you
a
want?
shoe,
I just want whatever that original Michael Jordan contract was. Something
Yeah,
along those
okay.
lines,
All right,
yeah.
so we're going to at Crocs on this, yeah?
sure, why
The
not?
worst case scenario, we'll get a whole bunch of Crocs for us. I think they should probably hook us up. Have you got any Crocs?
Yeah, I wear them all the time.
Do you actually? Do you actually?
I've got Crocs. I got some black Crocs. So let's give a shout out.
Yeah, shout
Let's
out
give a
at
shout
Crocs.
out to
No,
Crocs.
Is this the
If
new?
anyone,
We need a little brain drain widget thing that they stick in the
Oh
holes.
no,
that's
yeah,
what we
could
need.
get down with that. I've got some. I take the rubbish out in them.
We were doing well then, and now you've just rubbished the brand.
What are you talking about?
You're trying to.
Yeah, but they're the
you're
most
sort of
comfortable shoes to take the bins out on.
Yeah, but you're kind of insinuating that they're only good for taking the bins out.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my future sponsor. You're dissing there.
Hey, listen, Crocs. If anyone from Crocs is watching this, please sort us all out with some shoes. Get Kate's a pro model
Mad
shoe.
Crocs.
It'll fly off the shelves. Anything you want to say
Doubt
to
that,
Crocs,
but-
Dan? Say it to that camera there. Sound enthusiastic.
Slide into my DMs.
There we go.
so
That's
you've
all we
gone
need.
from laughing off Crocs to saying you want to slide into DM.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
I'm
listen.
all over it.
I think now would be a good time for Toby to put his phone away
Sorry.
and to also touch base on liquid death. Quench your thirst. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe on the stories.
Oh, yeah,
get
also-
sharing, shut up. Get sharing. Go to Roller Snakes, buy some brain drain merchandise. Keeps us in a
shut up, mate.
keeps us in a job. See what I mean? When he's around someone from London, he gets a bit more London. But anyway, let's get touching base on Death Skateboards. I feel like that's a big journey.
What about the Sketty Butter Brain Drain collab wax?
Yeah, we now have
you ever had a pro wax?
we now have Sketty one sec. We now have Sketty
Is
Butter.
that like at a beauty parlour?
There's no point me being here anymore. Now on to Toby for the weather. Dan's looking a bit gloomy.
Let's talk.
Let's get Death Skateboards.
Let's talk about Death Skateboards.
Let's go to Death Skateboards.
The mighty Death Skateboards.
All the way from the beginning.
Can I talk?
Go on then.
Okay, let's talk about Death
Start
Skateboards.
from
Fuck's sake. Let's talk about Death Skateboards. How did that happen, Mr. Cates?
What was your introduction to Death
what's-
Skateboards?
When did your first pro board come out?
And what was your first pro board?
That one.
That was part of a. Was that part of a series?
So originally, it was just on its own. Originally, and these were. This is like really looks really old. If you get up close to it, it's kind of like the white's cracking. Looks like a crackle glazed tile, but there was a small run that Don Bryder did by hand.
Just about to say that's definitely screen printed, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is. I think it was like autumn 2001. These because I went. We picked them up from the depot, and then brought them back. And then I had this. We didn't know how to. There had been a couple of boards that had felt on them before. I wanted to do something special, and we didn't know how to do that. So we went to flipping like department store or something, to the haberdashery department, and I just got this Fablon, and then I cut it all out by hand and stuck it on the boards, and then the boards.
You did a good job because that's still on there, still strongly on there.
Yeah, and then they were all hand signed, and then it came with like a clown nose and a pair of those massive joke
Massive
glasses. And yeah, that's what you got. And I think it said, "Buy this board, I need the money," on the top, something like that, something stupid.
Didn't it come out with a Pritchard and Dainton one?
Yeah,
as well,
so
didn't
then,
they?
so,
That's
then,
what I
so
was
that
thinking.
was out. That was the first pro model,
Yeah.
and then things started to progress because there was a bit of a boom at that time. And then Daint came on board, and then we twisted Pritchard's arm, and we kind of, me and Daint worked on him, and we got him to,
Bullied him.
we got him to quit rookie, and then he came on. And then the boards we had an American distribution of sorts. It's the systems distribution that did Supernaut.
Yeah.
And so then it later it was a series of 3 because it was out for a while. But yeah, that came out first.
And the ones that Daint and Pritchard, one of them had a black eye, didn't they? A broken tooth or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's the Dainton.
Yeah.
And then the Pritchard one had just the big yellow
Mad
hair, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got them all. They're on. It's a different pressing, but I've got all 3 of them.
Yeah. How many boards have you had on Death?
Like into the 30 something, I think.
Do you have a definitive favourite pro board that you've had on Death?
Probably that one.
How come?
Believe it or not. Bit of a weird one because that don't know. It just sort of came to me in a vision. That.
You were riding that one around the time Escape from Boredom time. I always remember you having that.
Yeah,
board
I had
around
loads
it.
of
So
them.
post Squadrophenia, kind of into that time. I seem to remember
maybe
anyway.
it was then. Yeah.
It was a good board though, isn't it?
I had one of those on the Squadrophenia tour.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I just I've always liked targets.
Yeah.
This actually looks a bit like that Madness logo now, but obviously this is way before. But so then I kind of sketched this out, and I had the name like that, and Jay mocked it up.
So J Bone,
yeah,
it was. I mean, he still does a lot of the graphics.
yeah, he's done a lot. Foz actually drew this one.
Nice.
He did this one. And then so that this came out, and I was really stoked the way it came out. I loved the fact that we had this holographic finish in that. But then that the disposable book came out, and there's like an early Lance Mountain like a board that he'd done himself, and it's got a really, really similar graphic, and I'd never seen it. So that's really strange. Yeah. But yeah, it's that, and then this one, my friend DJ did this. He's a pretty good artist. And then This is one. Well, this one is based on my favourite ever board graphic.
Brandex.
Brandex Dogma 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's me. And then this one, me and my friend Tamsin. She had this. This is like a rip off of Ken Maguire Skull Skateboard.
Yeah.
He had this graphic, and she had. We went on this trip to France, and she had this French dictionary, and it had a Ken Maguire sticker on the front. I was like, "Wow, that's sick! I really want to do that." And I showed Zorak, and he was like, "Yeah, that's rad. That make a rad graphic." Anyway, so she came round and brought the book around, and we took it to the corner shop, and we just photocopied my face just in the shop. And she's like, no, you got to get in there, you got to get in there. And we were just messing about with this on the photocopies of that one. And then I can't remember.
That scanner's board's amazing.
Yeah, just with that finish.
Like, look at the font as well. That Death Skateboards font. I've not really ever
The
seen that again.
The
I've
finish
got a
is
feeling-
pretty crazy.
Got a feeling that was Foz did that one as well.
Who? Sorry.
Foz.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
But just the fact it's holographic over the top as well just
Yeah.
gives more to it than just a flat image.
We've used loads of different wood shops over the years, and then some of them have had some kind of fancy stuff, which I've always tried to use.
Around the time of Squadrophenia, you had 2 or 3 boards out at any time, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I've actually had 3 boards out.
I remember
once.
the story you told me. I'm paraphrasing, but when Ches took the piss out of you for having a pro board, and you went, "What was? Do you want to tell the story?" I saw Ches the other week before last in Paris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem
I love
with
Ches.
Ches,
No, I
but
think
I've
he's
seen him
great.
for a long time, but like he's all right. But
You were in London or
I
something,
think there
weren't
was
you?
a bit of bants, and he'd said he'd always like say some funny. I remember. Okay, so maybe it stems from the night before. You remember those board X contests?
Yeah.
So the night before one of those, because it's largely a snowboarding thing, isn't it? They had this thing called the Union Awards, and they only had it once, or at least they only had it once, where they sort of branched it out into skating. And they had like basically Death won UK best team or something insane like that. It's ridiculous, right? Really funny, and we were really pissed and really out of hand, and loads of us were there. It was like Nicholson was there, and I can't remember. There was loads of us were there, and we won this award, and we went up on stage, and we were really out of hand. You remember Jenny Jones, the snowboarder? She's like she medalled in the Winter Olympics. She presents on the BBC and stuff.
Right.
I can remember like having her over my shoulder and just walking around. she was just over my. It was like so out of hand. Anyway, really good night, and it's really kind of early on in Death doing stuff. I think this is pre Squadrophenia and that. Anyway, there's Blueprint were there, and they had like a table. And I think they're probably expecting to win.
Yeah.
It's understandable, I suppose. And anyway, later on at the bar, Ches comes up to me and he goes, "Yeah, really well done. Yeah, really well deserved." He goes, "Yeah." And I put my arm around him. I went, "Thanks, mate. It really means a lot." And he was just like, so like that's the sort of like it'd be a bit of banter and stuff like that, and then I can't remember. I said something I saw him at South Bank or something, and I said something to him, just cocky, just like because I think they're having a game of. He was with like maybe some of the workshop lot.
Yeah.
I think they're just in London for the weekend or whatever they're doing, and they're having a game of skate or whatever, and I said to Ches, "I thought you were better than that." And he goes, or something like that, just something like, not too lame, but just like kind of banter. And he goes, "Yeah, well, I'm not the one who's got a pro board out." And I said, 3. But yeah, no hard feelings. Sorry, Ches.
Yeah, he's
You're-
alright. I
you're
saw him
alright.
the other week in
Yeah,
Paris.
Chaz is rad.
Yeah, nice dude.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Squadrophenia.
Okay.
Give somebody who doesn't know anything about Squadrophenia, gives the
What about Death Squad the movie?
well, yeah. I mean, you can start with that if you want. Death Squad the movie. Do you want to start with that?
Because that was
Yeah,
was that a
definitely.
Ewan Nicholson thing? Same as Squadrophenia?
No,
No.
that was made by somebody else who had a background in like TV and film editing, and so that's why it's kind of there's loads of sort of shots. So it cuts to shots of people's reactions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like kind of got a more professional
Kind of
sort
overproduced.
There- like there's some really ropey footage that's like recorded off of a VHS tape and stuff, and the quality goes up and down.
Oh yeah. The quality of the text.
He only had so much to work with, but he had this kind of vision of what he wanted to do, and he'd kind of just edit. Like he'd film just the crappiest session on a mini ramp, and he'd edit it up, and the next week you see him, and he turned it into some gold. You know, it's just like, how have you managed to do this? Like, no one you were filming was any good. Nothing happened, and it was still.
Didn't he have a full TV edit suite as well?
He had
access
some
to, so-
pretty heavy
Yeah.
editing equipment. Yeah, and so, you know, he'd kind of edit it bit by bit as he went along, and we'd all be hanging out and watch it, and it was apparent that he was to be trusted to just carry on because he was working. You know, he was on. We were onto something with him. You know, it was great. So but because it's like it's not Death, it's Death Squad the movie. So it's like that was our crew of people at Harrow, and it was all, I was the youngest one. It's Nick, Jay, Herrick, Ginger Steve, Chris Wolf,
Matt Bain. Is he part of this?
no, and then it was just our crew, and then Ginger Steve would just drive everywhere, and I'd have the wear guide from Rad.
Yeah.
And I'd say, like, I think there's the remains of this crusty park here. We should go there. And he'd just drive for miles. And Herrick would be into it. Like, Steve would kind of like... if Herrick said to do it, Steve would pretty much go along with it. It's almost like Herrick was sort of the leader. And then we'd just drive and there'd just be all kinds of shenanigans and, and fucking around and throwing yogurts over each other's cars and... that kind of shit, and as you do, and Kotovich would be there to capture the madness on this old video camera. In fact, I think he used my video camera because I got one for my 21st birthday, high 8. So between, I think he used mine. So then we just used that, and then I was the only one who actually filmed properly as well. I was like, oh, this is my chance. I could have a section I can like I've never had a video part before. It's like 98 or something. I need to I'll just get as much footage as I can, and I was just all I was doing skating all the time anyway. I was only 21 whatever, and it came out all right, and put it all together. I had a massive premiere. Someone tried to steal a police car outside the Trinity. It's all like
we were talking about
that. Yeah,
the Trinity comes up
it's
quite a bit in
fucking
Zorlax.
gnarly. Yeah, and so many people turned up. It's like
You can't do that now, can you?
mega.
Like,
It
it's
was
just insane.
absolutely mega.
We actually got busted and stuff.
Well,
though.
he tried to steal a police car in front of a policeman who was next to it, and it stalled.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Probably for the best.
yeah, definitely for the
So
best.
after Death Squad the movie came out, then it was it post that the boards came out? I'm trying to sort of put it in chronological order.
Probably around that time, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that I'm wearing one of the first T-shirts somewhere in the film. And then Squadrophenia,
Which was a Ewan Nicholson.
that
production,
was
wasn't
that
it?
was. So I filmed all of that.
Is that classed as the first unofficial Death Skateboards?
Again, it's not
Full
really a death.
It had a death
Video.
section in it, didn't it?
Had a death section in it, and
Yeah.
then obviously Nick's got a full section. I've got a full section. I made
Fucking
sure
love
Mark
that
had a full
section.
section. because I wanted it to be. I wanted me and Mark, especially, to get the most out of it that we could, because we were in my bedroom. I set up this. I bought a computer desk. I paid to upgrade his computer. He moved his computer to my house. This is 2003, sorry, 2003. And then he'd come down and stay for like 3 or 4 nights, most weeks. And then I'd sort of be working in the day downstairs, packing the boards.
This is at the House of Doom, yeah?
At the house, yeah.
The OG.
And then I'd every now and then I'd put my head in and like prise him out of bed or whatever whenever he woke up and make sure he was
Doing something.
Yeah.
Working.
Because I had a notebook and a schedule and I knew exactly what I wanted. And then as it evolved, it was other things came into it. And me and Mark have got a very similar sort of sense of humour. He's actually pretty funny. I mean, I'm not that you don't know Mark, but yeah. And we kind of worked well together. And he had a load of footage. That's probably my best video part.
I was going to ask, what do you think your best video part is?
That's the best. I was 27, I think, at that time, and I thought I was gonna. When it came out, I was really, really pleased with it, and really pleased with the tune. Like with Mark, the tune was Mark's idea, and all these things just came together. And
that's it. I'm uploading the part to our Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good, but we put so much into it, like so much. It was 9 months sat in that bedroom.
And then the premiere tour, there was a northern leg and a southern leg. Or
Yeah,
southern leg first.
Fucking hell, that was chaos, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
so before we quickly get off on it, off the subject, you were editing the video as you went along. You didn't get all the footage and then just set aside a couple.
No,
of
I got
edit.
most of the footage already.
So you were like trickling along week by week.
I had to kind of sacrifice, as you will know yourself. I kind of sacrificed my skating a little bit for a good few months to try and film a load of people that didn't actually want to be filmed.
Yeah.
Like Chris Wolf had hardly any footage. I think he was having a life crisis at the time, actually. Ginger Steve, he would cooperate sometimes and not others. He's pretty real. He's not like someone who's going to go out and do this false thing,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just like, well, I'm going to skate.
Some people are built to do parts and some people just aren't.
Want to go skating?
Well, I mean, Ginger Steve is just, there's no one else like him.
Yeah.
And then Herrick cooperated a bit because he's got more ego. but I don't think anybody who knows him would disagree with that. So he was better. He kind of understood a bit more. But anyway, yeah. So I all the trips and all the, we were onto a good thing for a few years. We were just doing our thing every weekend, going here, there, and everywhere, and ticking these bucket list spots off the list, and I was just pointing the video camera at it, and then whoever was about would point a video camera at me to get my clips. And then when I was happy that I'd just about got enough of them, then I focused super hard on my stuff. And I can remember got Dikey to film a load of it. I was so desperate at one point. I think that some of the picnic table stuff, I'm pretty sure Dibbs filmed that.
With the multicolour picnic tables. Oh, no, that was later on, wasn't it?
There's like a picnic. There's like a picnic table off of a 2-stair, and I do like a back nose blunt 270.
Try to day one it up.
I'm pretty sure that Dibbs filmed that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and then it all just came together, and that was I never thought. I never really thought to do it again because by the time the video came out, the Death Squad, as it were, was pretty much disbanded. They'd kind of, that I'd got their best years just in time, and they kind of like everyone was on to adult life and shit like that. And And I felt that it came out so well, and it was this special thing that I dreamed of creating that I didn't want to try and do it again because I just don't think I could.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark could have either.
It's a serious.
I think
piece
I
of
got
work.
Mark when he was young enough that he could cope with the. He wasn't really doing anything. Yeah, he could cope with coming and living on baked beans at my house, sleeping on the bedroom floor, and being chained to a desk, basically editing 12 hours a day.
Yeah, like that was his everything for that moment in time.
Yeah.
Which you have to take advantage of.
Yeah, and I just don't think that there's no way that we could produce again. I mean, I would have, if the circumstances had been right and I had come up with another idea that was different, I would have probably gone for it somehow, but it's just like that was our...
Quite a big undertaking.
This is our story, this is our thing, this is who we were at the time. And, you know, and people, I think people related to it because, you know, a lot of places have got a skate crew and they've got characters like Herrick in their crew, or they probably haven't got a Ginger Steve, but you know they've got all these people, and they and they relate to the dynamic of the group and
it's
just
a
the
relatable
way
thing.
And it was done really British.
Yeah,
really It wasn't like, oh, dude, this dude was just the greatest. It was like, it's more like, and we all hate Herrick. You know, it was all it wasn't rose tinted or anything. So, yeah, it was. I'm really, really grateful that I managed to get that together with the help of Mark, you know, one of my best friends, and then Nick obviously supported it.
Well, those videos kickstarted off Death, the movement, the full lengths that followed.
Yeah, well,
What
actually,
followed after Escape from Boredom?
So actually, the Squadrophenia tour, I have to be careful the way I word this because Nick might get a little bit offended, but that was the first time the whole team had ever been together and been on a trip. That was the start. That was like undoing the gates, you know. So obviously, you know, I owe a lot to Nick, and you know the
I think a lot of people in the UK owe a lot to Nick.
Yeah, the road miles that he did, you know, with me and certain members of the team and just whoever, just to hear their like every event and just every crazy spot. Like, where are we going this weekend? Oh, we'll drive 5 hours to North Wales. We'll do this, we'll do that. We'll go to Livingston. You know, all this stuff, just at the drop of a hat. You know, so we'd been doing, we were doing trips all the time. It's just what we did. But as far as the team being brought together, Squadrophenia was the start of that.
Yeah, and then the premiere tour.
Northern leg, southern leg.
That was pretty intense, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
Let's move on from that.
Do you remember how many? Just briefly, do you remember how many screenings there was of it?
Oh,
5
mate.
each, 10 in total, wasn't it?
No,
Plus
it's
the
20
Trinity one.
something.
Was
It's
it?
like, there was even one in Scotland that.
Did you go to that?
No, he sent like maybe Mark and Wag on a plane.
Fucking hell.
Because there's someone in Scotland who wanted to do one, but I can't remember how many's on the poster. You remember the poster?
Yeah, I've still got one at home.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to dig it out and
Yeah.
look
There's
for
quite a lot
cultural
on that.
references.
And there's one, it even said, there was flyers as well. And it said Sheffield premiere at the house, after party at Stalker's house.
Yeah.
It actually said that on a flyer.
And that party, there was garden furniture being thrown over the house.
Was that the one?
Oh, is that
From
the
front-
story?
No, this is a different one. From the front garden to the back garden.
I don't think we actually went to her house
What?
after that.
maybe
I
it's
think
another
this
one.
was another time.
That the garden furniture went over the house.
Yeah. I think that was a time when we were all up there trying to get some last minute clips, and we ended up at this Stalker's house having a
Jackie.
wild party.
She's had a baby, hasn't she, recently?
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
one thing to say about Jackie, she was dead funny. She was on.
Just one that used to make all the food for
Bless her.
people. Is that who you said?
No, that was
Anthea.
Anthea.
Okay.
But Jackie was on that dating show with Paddy McGuinness. What was it fucking called?
Take me out.
Take Me Out. And what they do that
No
thing.
likey, no lighty.
Yeah, they do that thing at the end where they, like you get down to the last two, and it's like one of these people. They come up with a story. And it's like her one was like one of these people's nickname is the Stalker,
Oh,
and they
really?
actually put that on there. I don't know if we can find that, but
She was on it for weeks, wasn't she?
I don't think so. I just remember seeing her on there this one time. But yeah, big up Jackie. She was a good girl. She was funny, but she was absolutely obsessed with skateboarding, wasn't she?
Guess so.
And she was from Harrow, but was at
Yeah.
Sheffield Uni. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Anyway,
I-
went to a house, and this lot.
And you?
Yeah, but I was, I just
No,
sit in the
take the
corner.
blame.
I just no, I just sit in the corner and hide from the bigger boys. But like there was plastic garden furniture getting thrown over the house.
Was it Snoopy was there? Was Snoopy there?
Yeah, I think so.
It was somebody.
Danny Callow was there. Ronnie lived there, didn't he? He was in Sheffield. Still
I
is.
don't remember Ronnie being there.
I don't remember Ronnie being there, but Danny was there. Snoopy, Wag,
Horsey and Wag were
Horsey and
definitely
Wag. They were the troublemakers.
there. And Dibbs was there.
One funny thing actually, when we did the premiere, was it this?
Yeah.
I guess it was here at the Blue Dog,
Oh yeah.
and
Horsey got thrown out.
yeah, because I said, I feel like a bit of a cunt, but sorry, I can't say cunt.
Fuck it.
I said to Horsey, I was like, throw your pint glass at the wall, and he went, oh, all right then, and then the bouncer's like, wait, get out, and just yanked him out. Anyway,
That was nuts.
so around those times, EastPak were helping out with travel and stuff, weren't they? Because it was quite expensive there was quite a lot of the team, wasn't there? And we did a few trips. Guernsey. And then the Butlins tour,
Oh my god, Butlins. Freaking
which
so bad.
there was,
Mental.
I'll go over this again, but there was the wrapped, what was it, Mercedes or something, like people carrier, like real posh kind of, like, what do they call it? Like business travel kind of setup, wasn't it? And it was like a swanky, comfortable, like armchairs in the back, electric
Sounds
sliding
amazing.
door, TVs and stuff. Yeah, but the journeys.
suppose, yeah.
So what were the journey times? Because I mean, I only went on it 1 week. I remember you phoning me going, "This is fucking hell. This is the worst trip ever." Because you had to do 2 demos a day, was it?
2 demos?
At
Yeah,
Butlins.
it was-
So it's
I think we had to skate. We had to do 3 demos a day at 20 minutes. So you only had to actually skate for an hour, but obviously you had to try and make it good.
yeah. The downtime between those was quite funny. We'll come back to that. But like,
Right. So this and the guy who it wasn't somebody from EastPak that was doing it. They got this this dude this couple of guys. One of them was pretty cool. One of them was a raging psycho, and I think they tour managed people, and one of the acts that they managed at the time was Blazing Squad, because Kenzie kept phoning him up, and they kept putting Kenzie on speakerphone. And
I don't remember that, but maybe it wasn't when I was on there. I was
Which
only on
is
there
kinda
for a
like-
week.
well, this is all right, but you're kind of doing this in front of the wrong people, because like I've never even heard of Kenzie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, and then so they pick us up, or they pick me up at King's Cross on, like, say, a Monday night. And then we in this van, it's all wrapped with a massive life-size picture of
It
Blackwell.
was bigger than life size. It was fucking huge.
Doing a melon to fakie on the side. And it's two BMXers, 2 skaters, me and Blackwell. And then pick you up on Monday night, drive to Minehead, Butlins, which is, I would say, the nicest one, which isn't saying much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get there, and then Blackwell and the 2 BMXers we check into our chalets, because we had chalets, just normal holiday makers in Butlins. They would literally, as soon as the van stopped, they would run from the van, literally just pretty much throw their bags into the room, and then pretty much run to the club to try and pull birds. And that's what happened every single night. Even though there was no one there, it's like 6 o'clock in the evening or something. They still...
They were like drinking bottles of Jack Daniels in the back and stuff, weren't they?
Probably, whatever. They're just like dogs. And so yeah, you do that. You'd be at Minehead on the Monday night. You'd have the next day. It'd be a demo in the morning, whenever it was, 10 o'clock or whatever, for 20 minutes, and then
it was on the EastPak mini ramp.
it's like maybe half an hour after 20 minutes, half an hour after 20 minutes. And then there'd be a ramp crew, take the ramp down. You'd get your stuff together, get in the van, and then we drive to Skegness, Butlins, which is better because it's the only one that had a spa and indoor swimming pool, I think. It's certainly the only one with a spa. So it was actually something to do. There is literally nothing to do at Butlins. It's insanity. It's like, other than go to a club that's empty, or you can go to the sort of cabaret or whatever it is, which is all old people, and it's just like a regular person from modern times. It's not really, I really can't understand how it would be something that you could focus your attention on for any length of time longer than a minute. But still, that was that. Anyway, so repeat the next day at Skegness, then get your stuff, get in the van, drive to Bognor Regis, Butlins, which is the worst one with the worst
facilities.
Yeah, the worst people. Yeah, it's pretty scummy, that one.
I've been to Bognor Regis. I don't know why.
And then do the same, and then they drop you off at King's Cross on a Thursday evening, I think.
And then repeat.
And then repeat the next week.
So he phoned me.
It's insanity. It's just like...
Was it good pay, though?
Yeah, but... I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have been there. But
yeah.
So...
Good for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he phoned me and he was like...
Maybe we need to hit him up.
I'm having the worst time on this thing. And it was like... I don't know, it's just kind of I don't know, just something to do. Go and get footage for Escape from Boredom. Because it was you and Blackwell. Blackwell was on Death at the time. So we went...
I don't know how we were going to do that on a mini ramp in the middle of Butlins.
Well,
but
we did.
They got you there to make a promo video, and then they didn't pay you.
I can't remember.
Not EastPak, the dude.
I can't remember. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
That's what it was.
So I went along one...
Because I've got it on a VHS tape somewhere.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I bet that's fucking shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
but some of the footage we used, some of the stuff, Blackwell has got a few clips from that in his part in Escape from Boredom.
Oh, maybe he has, yeah.
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 Because it was just the EastPak mini ramp, the black fold-up thing. Anyway,
yeah.
I went for 1 week, and...
that was the best week, because there was somebody sane there with me.
Who's that?
You.
Sane?
Oh, right, okay. So...
Oh, and I had the whoopee cushion.
Right, okay. There you go. He had a whoopee cushion, which... that
made the whole trip.
Made the whole trip.
I always had that whoopee cushion, though,
Can you please tell the story about you breaking the bed? Because
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
The things that you remember so clearly, they're almost gone in my mind.
So we check into the chalet, like you're saying, the other nutters, they run off to get booze, basically. And he gets
the way
into...
I described it, that wasn't really an exaggeration.
No, they would be
like a pack
booze,
of dogs,
booze, but they were like locusts. It was mad.
Wait,
so we check.
Hang on, sorry. Did I get cancelled for saying pulling birds? Are you allowed to say that anymore?
No, pulling birds.
So we get in.
I mean, everyone still does it.
So we go to the first.
No, I mean, like, are you allowed to say they were? How would you say it correctly? They were trying to chase some young ladies.
They were trying to court.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
So we arrive at.
They were caught.
We arrive at the first one where
They were going out shagging birds, basically, guys. That's what it was.
I remember it being shit weather the whole week, like piss wet, really heavy rain. Anyway, we get to the first one.
Yeah.
We check into our chalet. Me and him are sharing. Now you've seen what he's like. Like a lot of people have seen what you're like. When you get excited, you lose your shit. So he gets into the chalet, starts woo, jumping up and down on the bed, going woo, just losing his shit. Breaks the bed, right, and then tells everyone that I broke the bed. But one of the BMXers was like, in a really strong Yorkshire accent. What were you? Because he was in the one next door. He's like, what were you two up to last night? We probably can't put this in. Were you two fucking or something?
I'm going to put it in. It's
And I was like,
golden era.
and then again, he's like, it was him to me, which is kind of like obviously something that happens quite a lot between us. But yeah, it was right. So anyway, the other thing which I remember about that, we were given per diem, per Dizzler, every day. You got tokens, and Kate's being Kate's had worked out how to get the most food off the menu with his tokens, and you worked it out so you could like cheat the system, so you got extra toast or something. So you had beans on toast with extra toast, and like all this shit.
It's sort of improvising now. I don't.
And I remember it because I remember sat in that really depressing like pub restaurant kind of thing, and it was gloomy as fuck outside, piss wet. Everyone around us looked like they're about to die, and then there's him, like woo, like, beans on toast. Whoa, I've got extra toast. Still had tokens. And like they just had MTV playing constantly. I just remember this fucking hell. And you'd been at that stage. That was week 5. So I remember you saying, I've still got another week of this. Anyway, the last night, Psycho guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, why is this guy psycho?
Something kicked off in the pub thing. It was the last night, and they were adamant that we all went out and got pissed up. So I went out for a couple of drinks and then just left it. But they got in trouble, didn't they? And there was a fight, and someone's ear got bitten off.
Oh yeah, this lunatic.
And he was arrested or something. Anyway, that was it. So, but EastPak were great back in the day because they paid. We did that. We did like another mini ramp tour. We went to like Matlock, and remember Snoopy was on that. It was out in the rain or something. We went to Guernsey.
Oh, Malvern.
That's
we
it.
went to.
Malvern, yeah.
Oh
there was loads of like mini ramp demos going on at that point. That's right.
We were with
EastPak.
Sam Ashley as well.
That's right. Smasher was on it. Big up
Damn
Smasher.
it, yeah. And do you remember we turned up at one of the demos because we didn't have to do the demos. We were there, and we were supposed to get a street article,
Right.
and there's supposed to be like a few token shots of the mini ramp to include it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
Was that what the
I
Guernsey?
think this was an idea that I cooked up with Nick Street.
Right.
Remember Nick Street?
Yeah.
Who ran it?
Yeah.
Really good dude. Went on to work at Vans. That was like a way of getting it into the mag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's what we did. But anyway, we turned up and we had like thousands of EastPak stickers, and we had Horsey was in the back, and we stickered his leg up. And it was like literally looked like a cast on his leg. It was completely like so many of them. It took him hours to get it off. And then we taped. It had a lighter on the toe. Somebody's lighter was taped onto his toe, so you could like light stuff with his toe. Anyway, turned up, and he kind of like falls out of the van because he can't walk properly because of all this shit on his leg, and you know, it becomes apparent that we've sort of used all of the stickers just to sticker someone's leg, who then can't skate or do anything because he's just fucked. And yeah, I think and we were late to the demo as well. I think we agreed that we would go to the demo or something, and it was just ending, and then Horsey couldn't skate and fell out of the van, and we were all laughing, and it kind of didn't really look that good on us. Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty good. We went to that school in Northampton with the hip.
That's right. Yeah.
Lucy Adams was with
She
us.
was on that as
It's
well.
just
Yeah.
like young Lucy Adams in like big trainers. And we went to that amazing spot.
With the bank.
Yeah, with the slide on it.
Yeah.
That like thing that looked like Cantaloupe's.
Didn't Horsey frontside flip over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that in
It's
Escape
like a
from
double
Boredom?
page spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did actually deliver on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We did.
And Lucy did that fakie flip that's in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that for a long time. Yeah, so many trips, isn't there?
Finland was a good one.
Finland was amazing.
Me,
yeah.
you, Arthur Tubb, and Nicholson.
Yeah.
We went to film for Escape from Boredom and Live from Antarctica.
Well,
So-
it was really for Arthur, wasn't
Well,
it?
he paid for me to go, so
Yeah,
to get his,
so he was
to
the
get his
priority,
stuff, but
we kind of
tagged along.
snuck in there
But
and-
we were there 2 weeks, weren't we? We stayed in. We went to Tampere, didn't we? Where
Yeah.
Arthur's. So it's Miko, wasn't it? Miko is from around that way.
Yeah, I saw him last year.
No way. Is he right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good, Egg, he
Really
is.
good dude.
Yeah, and all that crew. That was a good trip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We got loads done there. I mean, there's quite a lot of clips
Yeah.
from Seinäjoki, where Arte's from. That plaza. there was like, I mean, it's marble everywhere and stuff. I mean, yeah. And we went like height of summer, so it was late. It was
Yeah, it
like
was
light
actually
all
wicked,
night.
yeah.
It was a good
Yeah.
trip.
was
We
really
got
good.
loads of clips then.
What do you think your worst part is? What's one that you can say none. It's good to be proud of your work, but is there any way you're like, oh, I wish that I would have changed this? Or are you quite well constructed when it comes to how your video parts are
I
presented?
normally sort of insist on sitting in.
Yeah, you co-edit, don't you?
Yeah.
So
So it's not-
you know. So then, yeah, and then I do sort of listen to the other person's impact, so input. So if I you know, because sometimes you get quite attached to your clips, don't you?
Yeah.
Even if it's like detrimental to the part, you kind of want it in. So like someone like Mark, so I think you need to lose this and this and this, and you're like, oh, do I have to? And then he takes them out, and you're like, okay.
You can see why it flows better.
Let them go. And then there's other stuff where you thought it'd be amazing, but you look like a bag of spanners. So you're just like, I'm not having that. That just didn't work out, you know. So you cut it down yourself, and then if there's any more chopping down, I can always rely on Mark to kind of do that. So I don't know about the worst part, but because like say if you watch Skid in the Rim, Motel
Classic.
6 video, also made by Mark, you can clearly see that my part, Mark's part, Horse's part are all the leftovers from Escape from Boredom, because they basically came out at the same time. He pretty much did one after the other. But it's a different beast.
Yeah,
and
different
and
entity
it's not
altogether.
like we used anything off the cutting room floor. We still had like a standard. But I filmed loads for that video, and I had something like 125 clips, something like that. So it was easily 2 parts worth. I had like 20 minutes of footage or something. Obviously, it wasn't, you know, it's my level, but you know, I'd been working.
Don't put your level
So
down.
But it's a very different vibe. Like that video, it was he had carte blanche to do what he wanted, and anything went, and it come out really light-hearted and funny, and it showed a different side of things. So it didn't have to be serious. So, but what I would say is, after Squadrophenia, I thought, right, I did this part that I'm really stoked with. It's brilliant. This one's going to be better, you know. And it wasn't. It wasn't bad. I wasn't disappointed with it.
What, Escape
it's
from Boredom you were talking about? Was that the next one?
Yeah. But it just wasn't. It wasn't. What I didn't realise is that, you know, when I was 27, that was as good as I was going to get. I didn't know it, but I can see that now. You know, and then I tried really, really hard for Better Than Life, and I spent about like £4,000 or £5,000 on travel.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah, because that's a well-travelled part.
Yeah. I remember I was gonna call it, and then I had a £500 win on the premium bonds, and I was like, right, I'll go to Rotterdam now. I'll persuade Mark to go to Rotterdam, and just like 3 or 4 of us went to Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Got some more clips, but yeah, it's got Israel in it. It's got, my God, it's got so many places in it. New Zealand, probably, Australia, maybe, all that. Just Jesus. Yeah, we really
And you got mugs from every single place you visited.
got mugs. Yeah, mugs.
You've
Yeah,
still got a heavy mug collection.
yeah. Got a mug collection weighing down the top of the kitchen cupboards. Yeah.
Just before we go any further, I just want a quick explanation, because you kind of briefly told me, but I think it's a good story. The Pritchard vs. Dane part, you got no music in it, it's just echo. And you said that was something because they assumed the video was going to be so big or so popular, which it was, a big video.
Yeah.
They didn't want to get a copyrighted song.
Yeah.
But then Ali Khan's has got Dancing with Myself.
Ali's, yeah. So I think I was one of the first people to be edited, and I was living with the guy who edited it at the time, so we just did it, and the computer was actually once again in the room in my bedroom basically.
Do you remember what song you had in mind for it? What you
I think it was going to be Toya Wilcox.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be
Sing it for us.
You're a fan of
It's a Mystery. Was it? No, is it that one?
You're a fan of
Something like that.
Look to the camera and sing it.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Keep going.
Did it?
Don't force
did
it.
Did it?
But you're quite a fan of a female fronted song in a skate park, aren't you? You've had
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
far?
I'd love to have hip hop one day, but I can't pull it off.
Yeah, it's understandable.
What are you on about?
Just can't do it. I'm just not straight. I'm not.
Gangster.
I'm
enough.
not that way. I just don't come off like I'm just
Yeah.
kind of a little bit. I think it's that one.
It's a mystery. Toya, 1981.
Oh, that would have been good as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anyway.
Love Toya. Have you seen Squadrophenia?
Yeah.
She's in it.
Yeah.
She's the girl who works in the chemist. Yeah.
So
he's not interested in her, is he? I think she looks pretty hot, to be honest.
I don't really remember looking at her.
He's only got eyes for Leslie Ash. But
I can't remember the film that
Toya's
much, to be honest.
on his case, and he's not interested at all. Just what I was saying.
So your part was one of the first parts that was being edited together, did you say?
Yeah, I was one of the first ones to go under the knife, and I said, I want this. Oh, you can't have that. We're not having any copyrighted music. Oh, what the fuck? This is bullshit. All right, well, can I have like some classical music then? It was like, well, no, because then it's copyrighted to whoever has performed it. All right, what can I have then? Well, you can have music that's over 100 years old or something like that. And it's just like, oh, great. Well, what does that leave me with, And it went, I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I won't have any music at all then. Because the options were like, there's that, there's some pretty heavy shouting music in between on the montages. Like, just row. It's just, there's no way I'm having that. I think that was pretty much the options. So I said, all right, just no music then. And he goes, all right, well, what about if I put this echo on the clip? And he's like, all right, yeah, all right. And that was that. And then, obviously, they came to do Ali's one. And they probably said to him, oh, we're going to have unsigned music. And he went, no, I want Billy Idol. And they went, oh, all right then. And that was that. And I was left with some echoes. So, And the two of them had Steppenwolf. As if that's, imagine having to pay for that. Obviously they didn't, but.
I love how that part ends with the death by bus, and then it's like you come out of the coffin.
Yeah.
That's good. I wanted Dead Dave to do something similar like that at the start of one of his parts where his hand comes out, because his first pro board was the zombie hand coming out from the floor. I was like, we should shoot an advert like that. So it's kind of based off what you did, but didn't want to do it. It's hard to convince people to do these things.
Mate, they don't know what's good for them, do
People need more fun.
So,
yeah.
Not so recently, I guess. How long have you been in Margate now? 10 years?
8 years.
8 years. So, why did you end up moving to Margate?
Just because it was by the sea and I could afford to. I didn't realise until I really looked into it and pulled a few strings and jumped through some red tape. I didn't actually realise, but I could buy a house. So we just went there one day, and it was just for a day out, just me and my now wife. And she said, "Oh, I quite like it here." I said, "Oh, I quite like it here as well. It's all right, isn't it?" And she said, "Oh, let's go to an estate agent and look at some houses." And she kind of made it happen. She got the ball rolling, and then from there, we're like, okay, you could get this for this much, and so and there was so many houses for sale at that time. It was
a bit different now, isn't it?
Just before it was already a place where people were sort of migrating from London in droves. And we just got in on time.
Because your place is in such a good,
affordable, yeah.
such a good place, and it's you're on the corner, so you've got such a maximum room for the actual property itself.
Yeah.
Because yours isn't squashed between anything else.
Yeah.
You've got like the end, which obviously
obviously lucky because you ended up building
the bowl.
the pool.
Yeah.
Bowl? What
Yeah,
do we
pool.
refer it? Pool.
Pool, yeah.
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 And that was a dream of yours.
Yeah, that was like something we talked about, and it was pre-planned. You know, that was
Because it looks
what we
good. I
were
mean,
doing.
I went there
It's
probably
such a good
6 or 7 years ago. But you've got the hot tub. It's all you've got all the decking,
Yeah.
the barbecue zone.
It's a pleasure
You
zone.
had the swings on the tree.
It's its own little Butlins.
You got palm trees.
Yeah.
Just need a couple of psychos, one wearing a cowboy hat, to come down and cause some shit.
And we filmed one of the best tricks, in my opinion, at that pool as well, where you rode it along the decking, did the slappy lip slide in all the way around the corner from one tile all the way around to like the love seat kind of corner.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite clips,
Yeah,
actually.
I might have to re-upload that just for like a throwback.
Yeah, really sort of quite
That was a
proud
good.
of
That was a good session. That was when the Blokes video hadn't came out yet,
Oh, and we watched it, yeah.
and Craig was like,
was
"Oh, you
hilarious.
gotta fucking watch this." And you tried putting pumpkins, melons, in the oven, so you can do like a fucking grab rock and roll, and it smashes the melon, but it didn't work, and that
I needed more practice.
in turn
I
actually
was being rushed.
made the clip.
Yeah.
Better.
Well, we got a clip anyway. You know.
Well, it started off the whole like an
Sam's
evening
as
at
good as a mate.
an evening at Dan Cates montage, which is still one of my favourites.
Yeah, no, I was really pleased with that. It came out really good, actually. And just for an evening's... I was thinking about that the other day, just in one evening, wasn't it?
How much footage we got in it? Like, everyone was like,
Yeah,
Craig,
it's
Dave.
nice. Yeah, it's nice when something's easy like that. Like,
Yeah.
everything's at one spot and it's just, and you come away. You haven't got to meet up every weekend for a year. You've just got it in one.
Yeah,
It's
because we were just
incredible,
passing
isn't it,
by
like, when you do that.
because we went to see Craig.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, let's hit up Kate's. And I can remember, I think you sent your address and questions was like, where the fuck is it? And we were like looking over the fence and I was like, yeah, I think we found it. It was a fun evening.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
That's what followed in the Satan vid way. It was Tom Day's backyard
Oh, yeah.
to the friends section. So I wanted that to follow suit from two complete opposites of like the pool to like a DIY backyard. So that's kind of what kickstarted that.
We spoke about it a few times, but like the process of building that pool, you were saying like it was pretty full on and getting the digger that would fit down the side and all that kind of shit.
For someone who only had a very limited amount of money left,
Right.
and from recently buying his first house and kind of making an abrupt transition into adult life, as it were, there were moments when it was quite stressful. When I thought, when we, I thought the garden there might be a landslip because we took all the retaining wall out and stuff and rebuilt it.
Is it structurally sound?
I guess it must be.
Well, it's not
because
gone
It ain't
anywhere.
gone anywhere. It's been there a
hasn't
few years
moved,
now, isn't it?
I mean, it's 500 meters of 10 mil rebar running through it.
Yeah.
I think probably if you got a company to do it, they would have put in a few extra precautions, probably, which I couldn't really afford.
Yeah.
But it's perfect. There's no lumps or bumps in it. There's no rough bits in the surface. It was, I had Div and Felix and my buddy Soup from Hawaii. I got him to come over. He's really good at concrete. So those three did the finishing, and but there was a few moments where it's a bit touch and go, like getting the digger out. We had to drive the digger up 2 flights of pretty steep stairs, and there was literally 10 centimetres between the side of the digger and a very kind of flimsily built conservatory. It's like one knock, and the corner of the conservatory would have gone. So that was, and also the angle of it was so steep. We had to have the arm fully out, and then me and Felix balanced in the bucket to stop it
Tipping back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No way.
and it was really, really. There was a few things which were just really sketchy like that, and luck was on our side. We managed, and it was all right.
Can it actually be filled with water? Is it got drainage for that kind of thing, or
No, well, I mean, probably,
yeah?
but
We'll show some photos.
I mean,
as we're
that's
talking about this.
just like that's the question that everybody asks. But I mean, I think the money I didn't really. It's beyond my capabilities at the time, especially to figure out exactly how you plumb a swimming pool and make it work. So if you had a company, anything to do with swimming pools is like massively expensive. So I reckon probably to put in a mini pump house and the plumbing and everything else that you need, and possibly even applying for a very drawn out process of for the for drainage and whatnot. I think it would have been more than the cost of the whole project, which I didn't have enough money for to start with. So I just ruled that out. And just did it without.
Nice setup you got there, isn't it?
It looks like you got a good thing.
Yeah, when he's
Going
coming
in
down the sea,
Margate, like there's loads of skating. You skate with my mate Dan McCusker.
Yeah, see
a bunch.
he
Dan
moved from Margate.
He moved to Leicester for a brief stint.
Yeah.
When I first met him, he had like the longest hair, like greb guy, and now he's like bald. Yeah, like super.
I forgot all about that. He used to have it under his hat, didn't he? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he's a good dude.
He met like Mike and not Mike, our mate Straubs and like Squirtmaster Funk Callum, like at Revolution Skatepark, and they were like, "Oh, come skate Leicester." And he eventually started moving there. But I can see his point, because I think I'd feel the same. It's like I think he just likes being by the sea as well.
Yeah.
Like when I go visit by the sea, you immediately feel a bit happier because you kind of, it's a big open space where you can feel decluttered a little bit.
Yeah.
And now he obviously works at Skate Pharmacy, and it always looks like he's skating, and there's like a little mini ramp he skates all the time in someone's backyard, and it just seems like a good group of people down there. Seems like a good group of people down there that you got going on. And you've got the spot where it's like an empty court and it's all banks around it.
Yeah.
We went there.
Hartsdown, yeah, amazing.
Seems like a nice area to live.
That does the job. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, absolutely. But it's funny you mentioned Dan, because we not now, but we were doing a lot of early morning swims in the sea. Yeah, which is such an amazing thing. It really
it's good.
Kind of sets you up for the day.
Cleanses you.
Yeah,
it's 100%.
Really yeah. So that was fun. Hopefully do that again.
Do you think you'll stay in Margate?
I hadn't really thought about it. The question is, where do you go that's better? I mean, I sometimes feel a little bit out of touch with London because I don't go there so much. And there's a lot of new spots, and I mean London there's been so much building. It changes every time you go. Every time you come into London, you something new out the window. It's been a building that wasn't there before. It's so I feel like I do sometimes miss just it being a really easy, quick journey to anything that's going on in the city. But apart from that, it will do the job. I had trouble kind of trying to think of somewhere to move to anyway, and we just Margate kind of found us. So yeah,
nice. During the 90s, you went to America a few times with Adam Hart, didn't you? Is that when you first met Simon Woodstock?
Yeah.
Like the Sonic days.
Yeah. So I wrote to Simon Woodstock.
That's right. Tell us a story about that.
I just wrote him this insane letter. I made this. It was like it's the ultimate letter that a complete dork would write, you know. And I made this like this multicoloured. No, it was like I can't remember. It was coloured paper, and it had a Neil Blender Coffee Man as like the header on it, and I was like made this paper, and then it's like, oh, I'm coming out to America. Do you want to meet up? And it was like photos in there, and it's like kind of, you know, like introducing myself, sort of it's the ultimate dork fan letter, you know. But
Well, it's
it
getting
worked
familiar,
because he
isn't
wrote
it?
back,
Nice.
and I think in those days it's sort of the tail end of you could write to pros and they wrote back.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, you couldn't just inbox them. You couldn't just DM them.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
wasn't
So
anything like
you
that.
almost
No
had to like
mobile
pitch
phones or
yourself
anything.
to them.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember showing it to my mate, and he's sort of like laughing after he read it. I said, "Oh, what do you think?" He goes, "Well, I don't know, but if anything's going to work, that will."
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
And it
"Okay."
did.
And I just
So
seen it.
how long did it take for him to get back to you?
I don't know, a few weeks maybe.
And what did he say? What was in the letter? Have you still got the letter?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think I maybe put it on my Instagram, but it sort of said, I think it had his number. Maybe it had his number, or it just had the number for Sonic, I think, and it said, yeah, you know, if you come to California,
Hit me up.
come. I think he meant like stop by for a couple of days, not like inflict yourself for 2 months.
Is that what you
know,
did?
It was too much for him, definitely.
So you basically turned up
Yeah,
and
it was just
you were
like-
there
it
for
was
like
kind of like, you guys, you're fucking my life. Just go away. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was cool, and we sort of stayed at Sonic, and
Wasn't it like
But there was a joke in it as well. It just had this tiny little bit of information, like the sort of stuff that I wanted to hear, like yes, you can, it's okay, sort of thing. And then it was so brief, like 2 sentences, and then it said the original. What does it say? I can't even remember it. The original Ronald McDonald died in his clown suit or something like that. And then it said, or something. I can't. And then it said, I've cut all my hair off, and I'm going to get a tattoo of hair. It had some like 2 really bizarre things in it that were just not related to anything, and I was like, okay, this is the guy. Like, let's get a flight, you know. And then I ended up going with Adam Hart, mainly because I just didn't want to go on my own. I mean, I don't think he particularly wanted to go to America with me, and I didn't want to go to America with him. But we kind of needed each other, because we needed a hand to hold. So we did, because I'd never even been on a plane. I was like 18 or something.
Am I right in thinking there was like a thing in Rad Mag? It was like a kind of report thing from America, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
the Bunsen burner page.
Yeah,
Captain
yeah.
Bunsen burner.
And was it Woodstock who'd written that?
Yeah.
And it was like,
It's-
Adam Hart's been like sleeping on my sofa for weeks now, and
Yeah, I don't think he liked Adam.
yeah, Adam Hart was, I don't know. I mean, I just saw him as a bit of a wanker. Yeah, bit of a wanker. So, and then obviously that time with Woodstock, you kept in touch, right? Did you or didn't you? I don't know. I mean, it kind of got the impression that
Because
you
the guy was clearly a massive inspo for a lot of.
was he the inspiration for you dressing up like a clown?
I guess so, sort of subconsciously. But where that comes from is, I had my sort of first proper job at a golf course, and I used to get out of work about 3, and then I'd like cycle home.
Dressed
And
as a
then
clown.
it was a Friday, and then I had like literally like minutes to sort of get into the town, go to the train station, get on a train, and then that Friday I was meeting Wingy and Jeremy Fox at Ali Cairns' house, and then we drove to this demo in Mount Hawk. It's the one where like Rowley had the cover of Rad.
Yeah.
Everyone,
The outdoor,
load of people
outdoor
were
Mount,
there, yeah.
Mount Hawk, yeah. Siesta days, right?
Yeah, and I was like, on the way there down, I was like, I need to get like an outfit, like dress up or something, you know. Don't know, I was a bit keen, you know. And there's this fancy dress shop just quite near to the station. I just went in. If you got any costumes that I can buy, and she had these clown suits, and I just like got one of those. Didn't even try it on. Just like legged it to the train station. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this. And I think Wingy tried it on or something as well. Like I wore it on the Saturday, but then I took it off. I'm sure I remember Wingy like skating around in it as well. And it just kind of went from there, and I was like, oh, I'm like the Simon Woodstock guy now.
What a good time in skating. You had the clown, you had
You
the
could
gimp
just do that, yeah. The clown, the
by
gimp.
Joycey. Like no one does anything fun at comps anymore.
The one of the photos, I'm sure you were dressed as a clown. It was the mirror shot, the frontside rock with all the mirrors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, like being a bit of an ordeal and expensive with the mirrors. And
that's an expensive photograph.
yeah, so what's the story behind that one? Was it just
Well, it's just something I thought of, and loads of my best stuff, like the best sort of coverage and photos and stuff that I had was while I was at uni, and I think it's because I was just really, really inspired. I was in like a good place.
because you had the Thrasher, was it a tail block or a sweeper on the was it Perspex board or the one with the hole in or something? I can't remember.
I think it was
Something
a
else.
photo graffiti or
In
something.
Thrasher.
It was something else.
And it was a board
thing,
with a
wasn't it?
load. It was
Oh yeah, the board.
a
Yeah,
clear board.
the middle was cut out. Of the
Right,
board,
yeah,
wasn't
that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Through it, yeah.
And then you know,
Something else page, yeah.
and then when you came here for that Christmas edit, you had the board with the nails, the acrylic board.
Yeah.
You've got a spade board, a cricket bat board.
Yeah, I've got lots
Fuck
of
it,
boards.
Look how good that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is what we're.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
tell us a bit about this. I mean.
Yeah, so that's obviously that's feedback, you know, two mirrors facing each other. But in order to do it, the mirrors I bought were obviously I didn't want them to be glass.
Yeah.
So they were.
And you're
'cause I
on
had
the
to cut
clown
them.
board there as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought I bought 4 8-foot tall 8x4 sheets of mirrored acrylic. And then I bought a load of 2x2s. So the mirrors alone were nearly 400 quid. Then I bought a load of 2x2s to sort of make it into 2 walls. And then we took it to, that's my friend Dick. He had a private mini ramp in a lock-up. Took it there, painted the back wall stripy, like circus colours. Constructed these walls, cut the mirrors into the tranny. And then somehow managed to shoot it, and got Rob Shaw shot it, and we got that, which was a double page Kingpin contents.
Yeah, it's a good photo, that, isn't it? For many reasons, it's.
Skateboarding needs a bit more of that again.
Well, there's been a massive wave of mega creative stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like your guys, for instance, are just still in the show, aren't they?
Yeah, some of them are pretty fucking weird, which is good.
Yeah.
It's what I've always personally liked. It's what I've always been a fan of.
Well, you know, some people are like, no, I just skate, you know. Like, I can't imagine Julian Stranger doing that. You know, he wouldn't.
No, yeah.
That's, you know, it's a whole different thing. But, you know, I think
You need
my sort of ability on a skateboard, it only goes so far. And it's like, I almost feel like I need something like that.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. But also, I'm just sort of used to trying to think outside the box. So if I come up with an idea and realistically I can facilitate it and make it happen, then, you know, and I think there's a pretty good chance it's going to get run or it's used for something, then I'll do it and tick it off the list and move on to the next thing, you know. So, and a lot of that is a Simon Woodstock thing, because I think he wanted to go pro for Black Label and they wouldn't turn him pro. I think they said he's not good enough, sort of thing, and he said, right, okay, well, I'll show you.
They said that with comps as well, and then he was like, then I started skating surfboards and ironing boards and I was winning.
Yeah,
You know
there's
what I mean?
comps where he beat like some big names.
Yeah.
Yeah, like top top, first, second, thirds, you know.
But
Yeah.
that's the best. That's the best kind of skating. That's why, that's why I'm such a fan of Avi as well.
Yeah.
Because he just did all the weirdo shit.
Yeah. But I mean, Simon Woodstock, he is the sort of godfather of it, and he stands out like a sore thumb because of the time that he did it.
Yeah.
The early 90s, that was not a time to fuck around.
No,
And
it was majorly kooks.
Those guys were, you know, the pros of the street pros of the era were serious guys.
Yeah.
They with the right gear on.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't, it was brutal. The 90s was a big shock to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I feel like he forced his way into having a spot.
Yeah, made it so you couldn't ignore
whether
him.
people liked it or not. You know,
Yeah, he made it so
he was good enough to get by. And you know, if you look at his comp places, you know, he's beaten Chris Sen, Willie Santos, Tony Hawk. He's had some good comp placings, like at the Power Skate Zone and places like that, early 90s.
It's why it always makes me laugh when I hear or see people say like, "Oh, skating's always been such a welcoming thing." It's like, well, for a long time it wasn't.
You know, it depends
Like,
who you're with.
Someone is pretty welcoming now, but it's definitely had its ups and downs.
There's a video with and it's the first time I guess I've name dropped him on here. You know, like Gifted Hater, where he reviews everything really harshly. He put out a video where he's saying like, you have all these people still to this day saying, oh, the 90s and the early 2000s was so accepting in skateboarding and everyone was welcoming. And he literally says in the video, like, if you were there, you weren't fucking accepted. Let's not act like it wasn't the most toxic shit for a long time. Skateboarding is in its best place now because of the creativity in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But definitely not in the in the
But
90s.
saying that, you know, I really did love the 90s, and I feel very, very lucky that I skated in the 80s for some of the best years of the 80s.
And then seeing it progress to the best years.
And I skated through the whole of the 90s. And you could tell people about the 90s, but unless I sound like somebody from the 70s now.
Well, unless you were there.
You could say the same about the 70s, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, the 90s was, you can explain it to someone till you're blue in the face, but it really was as crazy as it sounds, you know.
Yeah.
And just, you know, from the 80s to the 90s, it's like black to white.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
Yeah, and it changed so quickly, especially in the early 90s. Things were like,
Yeah.
you know, went from still big boards in 91 through to skinny little things by 93, 94.
92, I mean, 92, I was someone who didn't really want to change, really. I liked things the way they were in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's what I knew. And I was very late to sort of let go of the 80s. I can remember going to the Pioneer and everyone's got cut off half cabs and
I mean,
massive
you'd
blind
always
jeans.
have coloured
And I had
grip tape and
like
stuff.
a pair of Insane shorts and a Life's a Beach t-shirt in like turquoise or something, and I still was rocking some Airwalk thermos. So I was like, once I got my head around it, I embraced it, and I wanted more, and I kind of sort of got into it big time, but it was difficult at first, and loads of people older than me just gave up because it was so alien to what they had loved, you know, in the 80s. But it was once it kind of got past, I think 92 was the worst of it, and then once you're into sort of mid to late 93, 94, things were pretty good. And also, you know, I was always into hip hop. And then, so 93 is like a flipping golden year for hip hop. And also hip hop became something that was our anthem. And it was like,
I remember,
you know, skaters listen to hip hop now.
Yeah. I always remember, like, there's only a few times when you were with Chris McIntosh
Yeah.
in his little. Do you have a little Metro or something?
Red Metro, yeah.
And I always remember like you were in the front, window down, loud hip hop blowing out, and I was just like little meek Toby from Midland. I was like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Good times.
But I mean, he was really into hip hop as well.
Yeah, he
See,
was big
you
into
know,
it, wasn't he? Yeah.
He's
Big up Chris
both of us
McIntosh.
kinda-
He messaged me actually last year on Instagram. He was like, seems to be doing all right.
I've got a sketchbook at home that I took when he was recently passed his test.
Yeah.
And we went on a road trip and we went to Swindon for some reason. He came to my house, picked me up, went to Swindon, and I drew on the way there. I drew, you know, the Neil Blender board where it's just in a box, and it's a drawing that he did of Eric Nash driving. I tried to recreate that, and it's a picture of Chris driving his Metro,
No way. You
which
still
I
got
saw.
it?
Yeah, somewhere. And then we went to Swindon, and we went to. No, we didn't. No, sorry, we went to Oxford. We went to Oxford Wheels to skate the mini ramp.
Yeah.
Tom Penny was there, who I sort of already knew a little bit from Northampton. We hooked up with him, and he was with Carter
Oh
and a
yeah.
couple of other friends, and they took us. Tom came in the car with us. I think Tom and his mate, and then Carter was in another car, and they took us to Abingdon BMX track, and
Sick
then we
spot
went.
then, wasn't it? That
and
was like a heavy spot. Wasn't
Yeah, yeah, and then we went to Swindon, and we went to Swindon Bowls, which is it's gone now, but it was an absolute toilet. And then I think we went to a few other spots, and then we drove back to Oxford to drop Tom off, and went to Botley. He took us to Botley Bowl,
it? Oh yeah.
and he took us to that hill that Wurzel bombs at the end of Spirit of the Blitz.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that was like I was probably like 17 or something. That was 92.
92.
Yeah, Blind Jeans days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us about skimboarding. Skim and
Skimboarding.
destroy.
Man,
Skim and destroy.
skimboarding. Well, I suppose skimboarding, you know, obviously Simon Woodstock is the originator of that, and it kind of started as a joke, I think. I think he explains that. So I made a little 2-part documentary which the Ride channel bought, and I made it with Andy Evans.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. I think maybe Simon explains how skimboarding came about in that. But obviously you got that clip of him doing it at Back to the City in 93, which is the most, you know, that's like the sort of like Milan catwalk of skateboarding at the time. And he's there in a fucking wetsuit.
In a
on
wetsuit on a
skimboard
skimboard.
in the comp.
Yeah.
Isn't there a clip of him
It's just-
skating like hubbers on it as well? You know, that little low.
Well, he ollied down Wallenberg in.
We
Yeah.
ollied afterwards. They had the comp at Wallenberg.
Yeah.
Ollied Wallenberg on a skimboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does frontside nose slide the mini hubbers.
Yeah.
It's at Gunderson High
And like
School.
Andy Roy's on that session or something as well.
Maybe, yeah, because they used to skate together all the time.
Yeah. And he gets arrested. Woodstock got arrested.
Oh, that's like in that Thrasher video, yeah.
Yeah, and Andy Roy's like, I dress like this and I don't get arrested. But
Yeah, they
it's
went to a charity shop and he got all the most wacky gear he could
because
find.
skating was going to that
Yeah.
baggiest
Yeah,
shit.
he's
Yeah.
he's kind of like dressed like a clown, basically.
Mm.
Yeah. It doesn't even look like Andy Roy, does it, in that clip?
No.
He looks way taller.
Mm.
But yeah, they used to skate together and yeah, so he obviously, you know, he's the originator of the skimboard, the skim skate, and I just thought, well, this looks good, and it is wicked. It's so good. Like, do you remember that little one that I had? And I think I had it. Do you remember when I did that handrail on it? That's in Escape from Boredom.
Oh yeah. That school in Letchworth.
Yeah, and I can remember telling we went to Biggleswade Park, didn't we? And I was like, look, you can just do backsmith.
Yeah, I
so
remember.
easily.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it. I've got like a magnet in my heel that always finds the coping.
Mm.
So I go to do a backsmith and my heel was just down and I stopped dead. But if you've got a 19.5-inch board, that's not a problem anymore.
Yeah.
So you can backsmith from here to Kathmandu.
Mm.
You know, so I just kind of liked it because I could just do this.
Do the stuff,
and I can
yeah.
do that side stall thing.
Yeah.
Because you're so
Where
much.
you come up on the truck side.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I could do that. And and then I'd just go. So what I do is, if we're going to a really shit skate park, rather than be like, do you know what? I'm just going to stay in. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to come to the skate park, but I'm going to bring this. So it makes
So
it
people
a bit...
know if you turn up with a skimboard, it's because you think their skate park's shit.
No. But
Just so it adds a bit
to
the
yeah,
shit
because
park.
you're sort of learning.
Yeah.
You're trying to do as much you could do on a normal board that's like been designed over decades to be the perfect thing to skate on a skimboard which is designed for something completely different. So it makes it keeps it interesting. So and then that turned into I used to ride for Shiner and get trucks and Richters and stuff like that, and I was always bugging Alan Glass like, I want to make a section on a skimboard, which is probably the least likely thing that he's ever going to agree to. Like, it's like everything that he hates, I can imagine. So anyway, Shiner I think they were doing quite well at the time, and they took on this guy for filming, Danger
Rob.
Yeah, who's the best guy. And he goes, look, because I think we were at an event, maybe Shop Riot in Hull, and everyone went out for a meal, and then I was on Glass's case. It's like, yeah, when are we going to do this part? I need to do a part, whatever. And he goes, look, talk to Danger, like, just, he's like, just give me the flick, just put me onto Danger. And it's like, oh, all right, mate, I've got this idea to do this thing. He's like, yeah, okay, here's my card.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, right, this guy's not getting away now. I've got his card, that's it, he's in now. And I just, because he was living in Bristol, which is perfect, more spots than anywhere, incredible for skating, best scene. I'd just go to Bristol weekend in, weekend out, stay at Habgoods and film with Danger. And then that became Skim and Destroy, basically. And
talking about like in targets, one of the enders is a footplants fakie with a crossbow fucking target.
Yeah. Which is like pretty silly idea, really. But, I mean,
It worked.
That arrow's got a metal head on it.
Oh yeah.
And the head went a good inch through the board. That's the force of it. So if it missed and hit you in the nuts,
You fucked.
that would really suck.
Yeah.
And we did it twice to make sure we got a good angle. But and Jed, that was Jed did that. He's like a Team GB archer.
I like when someone throws the glass bottle and you hit it and it doesn't break and you go, what the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah,
that's my favourite clip from the whole.
Yeah,
you're quite a fan of the breaking glass and
breaking shit's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Like
you don't like breaking stuff?
Those sugar bottles you bought when we were doing that thing here, and I don't know what happened.
Funny.
You got injured or something. We had to put it off, and then they hardened, didn't they? So when we actually came to like,
they'd sort of started to kind of deteriorate, hadn't they?
And I whacked you on the head of it, and it really hurt. Also, there was that time when I had the VX1 Mark 1. And you were ollieing down the stairs in Milton Keynes and you wanted the bike.
Onto a glass bottle.
Yeah, and you were like, get closer.
Yeah,
and
you had to wear sunglasses.
And it was like there, like smashed.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck's sake, like glass going everywhere. You're not skating in a minute because you fucked yourself up, and do you want to talk about your knee injury, how it started and what's going on? And
I just had a freak incident skating the boat. Rob Winston came to my house randomly on a Tuesday night. He was working somewhere near in the area.
Yeah.
Him and Twiggy drove up to meet us. He just came round, So those two are around, and it's like January of this year. And then I just had a freak incident where I just, a 50-50 was getting away from me on the sidewall. So I just jumped into the bowl, completely normal. And something happened where the knee just bent out. And I knew it was bad. I thought I'd broken my leg, and I sort of braced in the fetal position on the flat, and I said, oh, this is bad. I think I've done something, and I've just waited for the pain to kick in, but it didn't come. And I hobbled out of the bowl, but it's instantly a balloon on my knee. And what I had heard was the ACL go. Anyway, I went to the hospital. They examined it, said it's fine. Just do a few exercises, it'll get better. Then I had a physio come round. She said it'll get better. Then I went to another physio for a second opinion on that. She said I felt around in there. Nothing's broken. Everything's doing what it should. You just stretched everything. You've moved the kneecap over because the kneecap's facing the wrong direction. Oh. And then, anyway, 9 months later, she's still telling me to ice it. It's like, what are you talking about? You don't. It's no. Anyway, I went to this another physio, and they said, I think it's the ACL. And then he got his partner in to examine it, and he said the same. It's the ACL. So now I'm probably going to pay for an MRI to just get it quickly. I'm in the process of trying to work that out. And then once I've got an MRI, hopefully I can take it to the doctor. But then God knows how long you wait for an op at the moment.
I mean, a year would probably be pretty quick, I think. Now, because it's just fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't go... I've wasted 9 months by having this stupid diagnosis that weren't accurate and not listening to myself on it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty, a little bit gutted because, I'm not young anymore. I'm halfway through a video part.
That was my next question. Any info about the video part?
And I can't do anything. So, I mean, I might be able to get a few clips. I've got one of those bionic knee braces, but it's kind of awkward to skate.
Is that restricted movement sideways of the knee joint?
Well, it's supposed to, yeah. I haven't really used it because I thought my leg was going to get better, and it's got to a point where I can roll about, and I've done a bit of skating at the curbs, but it's basically, if I thought one wrong move,
you're fucked.
It's going to mangle it. So I don't know. It's not a good place to be in. On one sense, I've had 35 years of skateboarding without anything like that. I've been so lucky. I've escaped it all. And it's not so bad. I'm pretty old. So I've had my years. It's all right. But at the same time...
You want to keep going?
You don't want to have something serious happening when you're older and it takes ages to heal. And... I've wasted 9 months having this inaccurate diagnosis. So the question is, am I going to, I don't know, max out a couple of credit cards on trying to get a private surgery or battle it out? I can't see it being a quick process. I don't know. But there you go.
So up until that point, how was the new video part with Dainton coming along?
Yeah, it's all right. It needs a bit more meat on the bone.
I've had a little preview of it.
All right.
When I was at Daintons. It's pretty good. I enjoy it.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to just...
I think you're going to have to bite the bullet on it. Because you're going to be waiting for, quite a while, I think.
Yeah.
NHS is fucking stretched, isn't it?
It's fucked, isn't it? So being really well travelled, right? You've been a few places, haven't you?
So they say.
How many countries? Can you guess?
60 something.
60 something, that's enough for me.
What's the longest journey you've taken to get to a specific skate spot?
The journey I took to get here today was pretty long, I'll tell you that.
That was mainly your fault, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
No, that's construction on the railways at the moment.
No, we got the wrong train.
No.
You got the slow one instead of the fast one.
They're all the slow ones.
It wasn't a fast one.
You said to me on the phone.
Yeah, I know. But
that you got one that
vanished.
They're all slow ones at the minute.
What can I say?
Right. What is actually the furthest journey you've gone?
To skate?
Yeah, like the maddest mission.
And what's the best country you found to skate in?
Answer my question first. Ignore him.
Wait, it's a dual question.
You guys. I'm going to answer Forde first.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Actually.
I'm out.
Don't be such a bully to Forde.
Oh, fuck off.
I would love it if you just got up and left, because then I could take this show and make it 10 times better. I'll get a new guest.
Yeah.
A new co-host.
Who would be your co-host if it weren't me? This is a good question.
It would be a hard... Who's as good as me at co-hosting? So, what was your question?
How was Australia?
No, what was your question?
What's the gnarliest...
Oh, how long?
Yeah, the longest mission. Like there's that story, we spoke about it before, about they went to that Japanese... like
place
half
on an
pipe
island,
in an island. Like, have you done any crazy?
Took them like
Hokkaido.
I don't know, 2 days to get there.
He must have done something.
Well, obviously, probably the longest that you can fly is to New Zealand. We did that.
What's the flight
And
time?
we did it with Dibbs.
Gutted. Oh, I love Dibble, the best
And
dude.
we were relying on his credit card
Ooh.
to get the hire car.
Shit.
And then, we changed planes at Dubai, and we're like 28 hours in. And he happens to mention that the new credit card he left it at home, and he's just got the old one with him. And we're just like, well, that's the trip, fucked. What were you thinking? What he was thinking is, I don't want to be the guy. To be fair, we kind of like, I don't know why it was him that had the credit. We insisted that he was the guy with the credit card for some reason, because nobody else wanted to get one. Because we were young then, we didn't have things like credit cards. And he deliberately left it behind.
So that's the fact. He deliberately.
But we did. It had a day left on it, the one that he brought, and it worked.
Fuck.
But when it dawned on him, when we sort of made it clear to him that he had potentially ruined the trip, and we were, that was it. He kind of went mad.
Mad.
And then when we landed, he was like behaving, doing all this really weird stuff.
Like what?
Just trying to sort of, like, I was getting grilled at customs,
Yeah.
and he was stood behind the guy flipping me off, and the guy turned round in the middle of it, and it's like, well, why is that guy? What do you want to go back? It's like, well, not really, no. And I'm going to kill. I was thinking to myself, and I'm going to kill Dibble in a minute. Anyway, let us through after a total grilling, because we had tents and stuff, and it was kind of like, well, aren't you staying anywhere, and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, Dibbs then tries to redeem himself, realises that he's potentially fucked the trip, nearly had me deported after 30 hours of flight, etc., etc. Then, we're bearing in mind it's sort of 4:00 in the afternoon, and we've got to get to a car hire place. We've got to find one and hire a car before they close at 5. Things are getting a bit tight, it's getting a bit worrying. And then he just disappears. We're waiting for it, and he comes back with like his bag on a trolley. He's like, "Don't worry, I've sorted everything out. I know where the taxis are." And I said, "Dibble, it's an airport. The taxis are just there. They're outside the door. Look, they are at every airport in the world." You're an arsehole, you. And then it kind of just went from there. It was just kind of like a nightmare with him. He's just, and then he had all his really shit. He's got terrible taste in music. He bought this whole wallet of CDs. Must be, a 48 wallet of CDs. And on the trip before, I'd hid his CDs so we didn't have to listen to them. And I made out they got lost. But this time, they actually got lost. They'd fallen out of the pocket in the car or something. And we were in New Zealand for a month. And even on the way home, he was still asking me if I had his CDs. And then for like the first week, we pull up at a spot and we skate. And then he would stay by the car, completely gut the car, take the mats out, the carpets. Bearing in mind he'd already done this already at the previous spot, and he'd just be constantly searching for his CDs, like he couldn't live without his CDs. It's and it kind of like went on like that. It was just kind of a bit of a burden, but funny.
So you did manage to rent a car on his card.
We managed to rent a car with 1 day on the credit card somehow. And,
That's lucky.
And then he proceeded to drive it on the wrong side of the road, and then he's immediately made to pull over, and Mark took over the driving, basically. And then we slept at that bowl. We went to like all the sickest spots, like dream spots in the first day. So you know those bowls that are they're like on the side of a tower block. And it's like a white. They're in the New Deal promo. Like Andrew Morrison skates. Yeah. We went to that dream spot, and then we went to that skate park, New Lynn, which is the one where they designed it in
the wrong metric.
No, what did they design it? Designed it in
imperial.
Yeah, they designed it in inches or whatever and built it in centimeters. So it's got a 6-foot full pipe. That's insane. It's so good. Dream spot. And then we slept at this other one, Linfield. And then that night we slept in the bottom of the bowl. And then these kids turned up and they had a motorbike. And one of them goes, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go in the bowl." And I just put my head up out of my sleeping bag in time for them to sort of not go in the bowl and run us over. That's quite funny. That was a good trip. But yeah, that's like 30 hours on a plane. That's enough, isn't it? But there was another one where we went to that big full pipe, the Pothole it's called. And it's like in the snowy mountains it's about 3 hours outside of Canberra. And then it's on a private road and we had to cut the lock. I think it's in Squadrophenia, I think. Me sawing through the lock, and then you go in, and you know in a cartoon where it's got a mountain and it's got the corkscrew track that goes up it. It was literally like that, sheer drop, and we had to go all the way up there, and then it kind of there's a big lake at the top, and you can see the funnel where the funnel comes out, massive great big funnel, and then it's got one of those dams you can walk down it because it's all made of rocks rather than a
smooth one
Hoover Dam job, you know. Mm-hmm. That was pretty epic trip, you know. That was a good one. But there's loads of ones like that. I could go on for days. But yeah, Australia is probably Phelps always used to say that's his dream destination, and I've been 3 times and I can see why. It's just that's one to tick off. If you're not a street purist and you're quite happy to go skate park to skate park for a few weeks and maybe sleep on the beach, it's got everything you need. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Just not into the spiders.
No.
Did you ever see any gnarly ones?
Yeah. Yeah, we got like a chalet, they call it a chalet, don't they, on a caravan park.
Yeah.
It's funnily enough, it's when we'd just been to that full pipe, funnily enough, and I went outside and there was a massive huntsman tarantula
just chilling
just outside the door, and then there was
how big we talking?
It was like I've seen a bird eating spider though in the jungle, because I went to the Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I went on like a 3-day cruise. And one of the things they did was a night walk in the jungle.
Fuck that.
And it is incredible. It's absolutely crawling. It's alive everywhere. You don't even know. And I thought to myself, I'd really like to see a giant bird eating spider, but surely that's not going to happen. Sure enough, just see it popping out of its little massive, like your hand. And
how far away from it were you?
Pretty near. To be as near as someone who's pretty scared of spiders would get. A
bird eating the spider.
Yeah.
They can grow up to 30 centimetres, can't they? Can you Google that, please?
Yeah, but that's leg to leg. That's not the body.
No, yeah, I know. That's the...
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. If it's a spider with its legs...
Yeah, it's just too much.
Fuck that.
It's too much for me, yeah.
That's not a spider anymore, is it? That's like a
threat to life.
Yeah,
they can grow with a leg span up to 11 inches, which is 28 centimetres. So.
Yeah, fuck
because Will and maybe our mate Tom are going to Australia in the new year for 5 weeks. And they were like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "I don't want to sound pathetic, but like, I am severely
Yeah, we
knocked
all said.
down.
Yeah, we all said that.
Yeah.
Nobody in our group wanted to have anything to do with spiders, but it's cool. But you are a little bit like.
Am I
Like
gonna
we
wake?
went round to our mates.
Am I gonna wake up with one on me?
Yeah, we went round to our mate's house, and he kind of lived in a converted garage, and he's got like a half pipe in the as you walk in, and it was a bit like it wasn't like a proper house, so it was a place where there could be spiders, and we're all kind of a bit creeped out. But on the first trip to Australia, there's this spot called Roseville Full Pipes. It's the one in Squadrophenia. It's the one that I loop out on.
Yeah.
On the opening clip. And it's really rad. It's like a tight full pipe that's only about 9 foot, and it comes out onto this little sort of rocky bit, and then there's a waterfall. But one of them's dammed up, and you can skate it, and it's basically under a bridge on the outskirts of Sydney. And we got directions to it. Went there, and I was like, you could see it from the car we parked up, and I was like really excited, like, woohoo, you know. Ran down there, and I ran through this bit of undergrowth, and I ran through 2 webs, and I could see this thing in the corner of my eye, and I was just, you know, it was a spider in a web, and I was like, ah! It was just like, ripped my shirt off, and I was just, ah! You know, in Indiana Jones, where they're in that tunnel,
Yeah.
and then the woman has to pull the lever and saves them, and she's like, get them off of me, they're all over me, ah! It was like that. It was,
Yeah, fuck
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's a no.
Yeah.
It's a no.
That kind of tunnel damp kind of things. That's what they're into. There was an abandoned mill in Hebden Bridge called the Horror Mill, and it was called the Horror Mill because the only way in was through the drainage pipes that were filled with massive spiders. I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going through that. You have to go through the drainage system in through the access thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I never did that one. Too much.
There's a full pipe drainage system near my mate Sam's house in Melton that we went to. The first time I went was through winter.
Yeah.
So like, and it's like drainage system with a bank and a ledge, so you can kind of like tail ollie in into the bank. And my mate Joe did that, just like kind of, you know, torch on it, looked, it's all dry, popped in, threw it, got like 20 seconds out, you could just hear him flipping out, because obviously all the spiders congregate in the winter, and he was just going through web, and he came out and he was just like flipping out and like grabbing them off his arm and stuff, and they were probably only like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to see one that's like...
Nah. But I went on that, we did a charity skate from Cardiff to Newquay for cancer research. It's me, Daint and Pritchard. One morning, Daint came in with a tarantula in a box.
Yeah, 'cause Pritchard hates them, doesn't he?
Where did he get it from? Just on the journey, just like, I'm going to pick up a
I
tarantula.
don't know, but he had like, we didn't doubt that he'd been to some sort of pet shop reptile place or whatever, because he had locusts as well.
Yeah.
He'd had locusts the day before. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
They run really fast, the huntsman ones, don't they?
They're the ones that
he
you
had
get in
this thing
Australia.
and he flashed it at us, and me and Pritch were just climbing the walls. Like, there's footage of it. I don't know. It's never surfaced, I don't think, but it is absolutely insane. We're running around like girls screaming, and we eventually get out of the room, and then he shows us in. It's just a plastic one. But you know what he's like. He's a master of.
You don't know if
he's
he is
amazing, Daint, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right. Well, spider stories. Do you want to ask the last question, and we can? I think we should wrap it up.
If you've made it this far, it's got to be probably nearly 4 hours into the overall show. Congratulations. I mean, the future of skateboarding for Dan was the last question, but until his knee and stuff, that seems to be the current future. I guess we could ask, future of skateboarding, what would you want to do? Just continue filming more parts and for as long as you can?
Well, that's what you
Is there
just said
anything-
then. It's because I watched Munson's Brain Drain on the way up here, which is incredible episode.
That's a lot
Loved
of people's
every minute of it.
That's
So
a lot
good.
of people's favourites.
It's just fantastic. He's
He's a
got a
storyteller.
real positive message behind everything, you know, and it's just
Yeah, we love
really
Munson.
interesting.
And his big Turkish teeth.
But he said he paid for
He's had his teeth done.
Replaced?
So I'll tell you, I mean, he won't mind us. I'm sure he won't mind us talking about this.
No, because I was going to phone him because I want those
So
teeth.
he turned up here. He was in the car park and I was in the warehouse.
I mean, Fraser made the fucking thumbnail with his teeth of a shine.
Yeah, I saw that. It's funny. Yeah.
So
and then
Munson don't care about shit.
he got out of the car and I looked at him. I was like, "What have you done to your fucking teeth?" And he went to Turkey and had them all taken out, redone.
All of his teeth.
I think so. Yeah, he's the whole lot.
Oh, right, I need.
But him and Kate, his partner, they're getting married next year. Are you invited to the wedding?
Not that I know of.
No, I guess the invite got lost in the post or something.
I am.
You're not going. You got invited.
Yeah,
Did you?
through DM.
Fuck off. I'm not going with you. I'm not going if you're going.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
you are.
yeah. So he went to Turkey and 3 days. They knock you out. They pick you up from the airport, knock you out. Not at the airport. They pick you up from the airport, take you to the hotel, do all
Horse's mum's in the process of having it done.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure he went my $6,000. I think he said. So I'll get mine done
spend that
eventually.
on
My
four
teeth are
teeth,
just
yeah,
disintegrating.
teeth.
They're just.
Yeah. Mine are screwed. I've had 2 out this year. I haven't got enough to lose now. But what he did say an interesting thing about he had a knee surgery at 6 or 7 grand, and he said, well, that's 150 quid for every year that I've skated. So when you say it like that, that is that makes it a lot more bearable.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether I've got to have a pay for a surgery, but I mean, I'm going to carry on definitely, and I'd like to be one of the last ones standing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky up until now. If I can get back to health, then, I can get on with trying to actually skate. It's been 9 months already. I'm feeling a bit sort of disjointed now.
So this is the longest you've gone without skating, for sure.
Yeah, it's the longest by a long
Did you
long
shoot
shot.
the photo with Robin all orange at the full pipe with the bad knee?
Yellow?
Full yellow?
No.
He's colourblind, isn't he?
No, there's a dispute on whether it's yellow or orange. Did I what? Sorry, with the bad knee? No.
Or was that a while ago?
This
then?
before then, yeah.
Okay, great photo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Still one of the only people doing that shit.
Yeah, thank you. It's if you look at the photo, his timing is just incredible. He only
it's a
shot
great
a few of them, and it's got that hole in the top.
Yeah.
So you can see the sky through the hole, and my hand, I think, is perfectly framed in the hole. It's just the timing is just incredible. He's really
Yeah, he's a great photographer.
for a maniac. He is incredible at photography.
Is he a maniac, though? I think he's
the real deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
wouldn't fuck
We'll
with
ask
him.
him about that tomorrow. Kate's claims you're a maniac.
I wouldn't fuck with him.
No, I wouldn't either. Too. I like he's a lovely boy.
Yeah.
How Whiston.
But yeah, he's good. He's like you can have a good conversation with
Yeah.
him. He's got a bit of depth to him.
Yeah.
He's good. He's
Yeah,
good. I'm
he's
glad
good
I'm glad he's involved.
Should we? Is there anything else you want to talk about, Mr. Cates?
Is there anything in the pipeline for Death? I've heard that a lot of riders have a lot of footage.
Have you?
Yeah.
Who's
your favourite Death rider apart from yourself? Past or,
what past or present?
past or present?
That is a good question. Now you've got my attention.
We'll end it on that.
Is that
Yeah,
right at the end of
because-
the interview? We've got his attention.
Oh man!
For the first 5 hours, we didn't.
What I was thinking today about how good that Cundall section is with the
Gwen Stefani.
Yeah,
It's
because Jamie Thomas
Yeah.
came round our house.
Name drop.
He was talking to I think he was looking for a new home for Zero. This is way back, and he had a meeting with Nick, and then they watched the Death video, and Jamie Thomas goes, "Sweatpants in a Death video?" And Nick's were like, "Yeah, well, we like to mix it up," but that he kind of summed it up there. That Cundall was. I mean, he was. When you watch that part, he was actually really good for
about 6 months.
for such a sort of a disaster of a human being. He was really good fun. He was good at skating, and he knew what he was doing. And that part was virtually filmed exclusively in Milton Keynes and Letchworth, isn't it?
Even to the point
So
where
he just wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, even to the point where Zorlak was like, gave us the van
had to
because we
give you
weren't
the
going
van for a month.
We weren't going anywhere because we couldn't get anywhere. So Zorlak's like, take the van and film, and we still, all of the footage that was got then was still
Mile
within a
radius.
mile radius of Cundall's house.
But still, it's, I mean, and that track, that's just pure Cundall. Sweatpants, Riding for Death, Gwen Stefani, you know, films most of the part in a month, and it's still the first part in the video.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I miss him, to be honest, a little bit, you know. Lunatic that he is. So, yeah, I mean, that he is the first one that comes to mind. That was, just love that. And
You can pick
Boots.
multiple.
Boots, yeah, my God.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where's he at? What's he
Fucking
doing?
hell, he could
He's
skate.
just working out and
He's
having
just
a
a
family.
dad. He's just a dad. He's a
Dadding it up.
He's a supermarket manager.
Mm-hmm.
Working out a lot.
And he moved away to Norwich. Yeah, but I mean, my God, he did it like he meant it.
Yeah, he was the shit.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
He
That
was-
the
he just
big
made,
push.
everywhere we went, he made us proud.
Yeah.
You
Big
know?
push with the,
really did.
Big spin front board down the rail. That kind of stuff. Just
Yeah,
but
and
did it so well.
Yeah, he was sort of my partner in crime for a while because he was up for travelling to certain spots. You know, he's a little bit like Hinson does now. You know, he's found an insane rail somewhere, and they've driven 4 hours and they're warming up at a skate park, and you know, it was a bit like that. There was certain things that he wanted to skate, and I'd be like, "You fucking hell, let's go. We go wherever. I'll try and film badly, and you know, if there's something I can do, we just both get clips, and it was pretty good like that. He was up for going places, and you know, he always produced. You knew he was going to do something. His capabilities were huge.
Yeah, good catch.
Yeah,
Mad
sick.
pop.
Massive pop.
Really
the
good.
lot. He's just incredible.
A nice dude. Yeah, he's a good dude. Or still is.
Who else?
Anyone from the current Death roster?
I mean, Eddie Belvedere is just
Yeah. Better with age, we
Unbelievable.
always say it.
that guy's basically the Terminator.
Yeah.
He looks like you could run him over with a lorry and he wouldn't feel it as well. He's like a bulldog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he's
know.
good. He's got a very deep bag of tricks.
Yeah, so
And he's a nice dude.
he can do anything.
I can remember.
Actually, we need to get Eddie on here, don't we?
Yeah.
Next time you're on
Yeah.
this way, come through.
But also like Charlie Spalzini.
Yeah.
He's good. He's
New
got a
little
new
part
part.
coming out.
Yeah,
Lovely lad as
looking
well.
Forward to that.
Zarosh is an all-time favourite.
Sarosh.
Legend of
Yeah.
mine.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen Sarosh I was thinking about him actually. Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really good
he
guy.
messaged me saying, if you're this way, hit me up and we'll go skate.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a red dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets sort of. Yeah, he's a bit low key, but yeah, amazing. And obviously, designed the greatest all-terrain skateboard.
Yeah.
Of all time.
A long-standing graphic too.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a new Richie Jackson part pretty soon. Oh man, I mean, when I think about it, like probably one of my all-time favourite people that's ridden for death, Melch, and obviously Pritchard and Daint.
Yeah. Dev's had a fucking big and a very good team.
Yeah, I'll tell you who I'm backing as well. Is Timmy Garbett, but I just I think he's got good style. He's got like loads of pop, incredible control.
He's been
Like,
sober for a little while.
Yeah, his like flip game is just
Yeah, he's got that flick.
amazing.
Yeah.
I just wish that he'd put it to use and do something.
Yeah.
He's like an underachiever, and we're all waiting. Come and show us what you got.
I'd love to film a new part of him.
I want to see it, Timmy. I want to see it.
I think the whole
Love you.
3 years I lived in Sheffield, we didn't film a trick, but he's
No.
completely sober now.
Is he
He's
really?
been telling me that he's completely sober. He's been to Barca like 3 times in
Yeah,
the
he's-
last 3
He's
months.
there now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he just seems to be skating more
Yeah.
than ever, and he seems to.
If he had like a filmer that he could work with, to push him, I think he could do some damage.
Yeah. Because that Ordinary Madness part was fucking well good.
Yeah, he's got so much ability.
Yeah.
And he's just like, mate, don't do it at Dev, do it in the street somewhere. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, he's a sick guy. Big up Timmy, I absolutely love Timmy.
Big up yourself.
Yeah, so...
Is that too loud? Is that too loud, mate?
So definitely that, yeah.
Anything else you want to say? Any final words? Parting words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom.
Oh, my God. Words of wisdom? You're asking the wrong guy.
Well, on that note, shall we...
yeah, let's wrap it up.
On that note, shall we get wrapping up? So, special announcement from Toby Batchelor right now.
Is there?
I know you got a megaphone in
I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to say yet.
Get the tease on.
Oh, you do it.
You do it.
Do it into the mic.
Where? What? Like he does it in the video?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
It's on. It's on.
Hello? Get the tease on.
Whee!
That's how he does it, isn't it?
Right,
Yeah.
so I guess that's the roll the credits.
Roll the
done.
credits.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a very informative chat. That's what we needed.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I did my best.
That's the end. Are we done?
Look at that camera. Say roll the credits.
Roll the credits. You're watching 411.
Do some of that in. You need the light switch.
Boom select. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.